foul ground. Delgado over, may have room, reaches out, and he cannot hold on. He reached into the crowd and had the ball come out of his glove. So Delgado made a bid and seemed to have a pretty good chance. And until we get a look at the replay, I'm not sure whether he had the ball in his glove and had it jarred loose, or if he had it at all. But in any event, it's a life for Nomar Garciaparra.
Well, just the reaction that Carlos gave as he came out of the crowd. If he doesn't show a lot of emotion a lot of times, it looked like he may have been able to come up with that ball.
The 0-2 pitch, breaking ball hit on the ground to third, charged by right. He's got a big hop, fires the first in time, side retired. Good start for Maine. Dodgers go in order. Middle of the first at Shea. It's the Dodgers nothing. The Mets coming up on the WFAN Mets Radio Network. Jose Reyes leads off, takes Derek Lowe's first pitch, a fastball for a strike, 0-1. Reyes finished the year at an even 300 with 19 home runs, 81 runs batted in. Switch hitter batting left. The right-hander Lowe deals, and a breaking ball hit in the air, shallow right, coming on Drew, still coming, reaches down and makes the catch. Drew, having to fight through the sun, grabbed that ball right around his kneecap, and Reyes is retired for the first out. And the batter will be Paul Loduca. Mets Baseball is brought to you by RE/MAX of New York. Is your real estate agent only showing you the listings they want you to see? Visit RE/MAXNY.com now and see all the listings in New York State. Nobody in the world sells more real estate than RE/MAX. So here's Loduca, a former Dodger and one of many Mets making their first appearance in a postseason game. Lowe's first pitch taken low outside and off the glove of the catcher Russell Martin, 1-0. Loduca finished sixth in the National League in hitting, batting at .318. He had 5 home runs and 49 runs batted in. Derek Lowe from the first base side of the rubber delivers 1-0 and a fastball down the middle for a strike, 1-1. Lowe was 16-8, one of 6 National League pitchers to win 16 games, and that was the most in the league. Here's the 1-1 and a sinker low outside, ball 2. Lowe beat the Mets in Los Angeles back on the 6th of June, 8-5. He also won his last 6 decisions to get to 16 wins. Now the 2-1, hit on the ground wide of third, cut off by the third baseman Betterman, sidearms to first in time, 2 men away. And right there is Derek Lowe's stock in trade, a sinking fastball that will induce plenty of ground ball outs when he's on. And so as a result, he worked 218 innings, and that's 10th highest in the National League, and only allowed 14 home runs. And remember, this Met ball club set a team record with 200 homers this year. 41 of them hit by the man at bat right now, Carlos Beltran. And the first pitch, fastball at the knees for a called strike 1. Beltran has seen plenty of Lowe in the past, going back to Derek's days in the American League with the Red Sox. Beltran only 2 for 20 against Lowe. And the 0-1 taken downstairs. 1 ball and 1 strike to Beltran. Carlos finished at .275 with 41 homers, tying Todd Hundley's Mets single-season record, 116 RBIs. The 1-1 and a curveball a little bit low. 2-1 to Beltran with Delgado on deck. Again, the shadows cover almost the entire infield except for thin patches across the infield dirt. The outfield mostly in sunshine. 2-1 pitch taken low. 3 balls and 1 strike to Beltran. Carlos was also second in runs scored in the National League. Now Lowe has the sign from Martin, the 3-1 pitch, and a fastball outside, ball 4. The Mets get a 2-out base runner. Derek Lowe walks down from the pitcher's mound in towards home plate, wants a new baseball. John Hirschbeck cooperates.
You know, Howie, we've talked about this offense being part of the keys to the success for the New York Mets, the offense and also the bullpen. I think one of the big keys for the Mets during this series, if they are successful, is this guy walking to the plate right now. Because there's some extra energy for Carlos Delgado because he had never been in the postseason. I mean, this is a guy that has more than 400 home runs and has never been able to put it on display during the postseason. And just his reaction on the pop-up foul that he couldn't get into the crowds, I mean, I think he wants to use this stage for not only team-oriented stuff, but also for, you know, individual stuff as well, just to show what kind of a player he is.
Throw to first, Beltran back. On that foul ball, I didn't notice anybody wearing a headset down there, did you?
I did not.
Probably a good thing. Well, Delgado with 38 homers, 114 RBIs ready. In the first pitch, a breaking ball, low inside, 1-0. Tom just mentioned Carlos has over 400 career homers now, 407 to be exact, which ties him all time with, I suppose, a fitting person considering the Mets and Dodgers playing today, and that is one of the all-time Dodger greats and New York favorites, the Duke of Flatbush, Duke Snider. 1-0 pitch, fastball hit on the ground, through the hole into left center, a base hit. Beltran rounds second. He'll go to third as Lofton comes up with the ball. Delgado takes a huge turn at first. Nobody covering because Garciaparra had gone up the line towards second. So Delgado will walk back to first, and the Mets have runners at the corners with 2 outs. And Delgado, taking advantage of the infield overshifting, found room in the hole between short and third to deliver the first hit of the game, and that'll bring David Wright up with 2 outs.
Beautiful swing by Carlos Delgado. He went down to get a sinker and just drove it to where the vacated hole was at shortstop. Kenny Lofton did not play that ball that well. Don't forget, in left field is Marlon Anderson. He's not an everyday outfielder. He's a second baseman by trade. And I think Lofton thought that Marlon Anderson was going to get to that baseball first. So they both hesitated. That hesitation nearly cost them because if Beltran, ran hard to third, he might have been able to score.
Here's David Wright. First pitch, fastball hits the outside corner, 0-1.
And I don't mean to say that Beltran wasn't running hard the entire way, but he had the stop sign by Manny Acta. But if they realized that there would be, the outfielders would be off kilter a little bit, he might have been able to score.
Runners lead from the corners. Lowe delivers. Fastball inside. 1 ball and 1 strike. Cliff Floyd, a left-hand hitter, waits on deck. Wright was just 2 for 3 against Derek Lowe. The only times he has seen him, that was in that game back in June at Dodger Stadium. 1-1 pitch. Fastball fouled straight back. Coming to the backstop. And Lowe ahead, 1-2. Lowe, not known as a strikeout artist per se, had 123 strikeouts in 218 innings. The Mets won 4 of 7 from the Dodgers during the season. They split 4 games here in September, took 2 out of 3 in L.A. in June. The 1-2 to Wright. Fastball high, ball 2. And Lowe, as he finished his delivery, spun around and had his back to home plate. The flags are virtually still. There's a mild breeze right now, but nothing that's going to affect the ball hit in the air. Low to the high set, the 2-2 pitch. Fastball hit on the ground towards second. Kent's got it. Flips underhanded to Furcal. A little late getting there, but in time for the force. That retires the side. And the first for New York, no runs, 1 hit, no errors, 2 left. At the end of 1, it's the Mets nothing, the Dodgers nothing on the WFAN Mets Radio Network.
Sports Radio 66 WFAN New York.
Spring training. Jeff Kent leads off the second, takes a sinker inside from John Maine, 1-0. Kent finished the year on a 5-game hitting streak. He batted .292 with 14 homers and 68 runs batted in. The 1-0 pitch and a sinker on the inside corner, strike 1. There was some thought that Kent might have to play first base in this series because Nomar Garciaparra has had assorted aches and pains, but most notably an oblique muscle pull. And they thought if he couldn't go, Kent would be the first baseman. The 1-1 pitch, fastball inside again, 2-1.
Yeah, the Dodgers have a surplus of infielders. They've got Julio Lugo, who they could easily put at second base. They could even put Marlon Anderson at second base if they need to.
The outfield straight away against Kent. The 2-1 pitch, swung on and missed, strike 2. A fastball, and the count 2 balls and 2 strikes. One of the pitches the Mets would love to see Maine get better command of is his curveball. He has not been able to develop any consistency with that pitch yet, and we have not seen it to this early point of the game. The 2-2 pitch, fastball driven over second. That's a base hit going into center field. Beltran in to get it as Kent turns first and holds on. And John Maine continuing to throw fastballs and mix up the location. Gives up a leadoff single to Kent here in the second inning.
Howie, there was also a newspaper article a couple weeks ago that said that Rick Peterson talked to John Maine about even putting a splitter into his repertoire because he was having so much difficulty getting that curveball and that changeup over as a secondary pitch. And maybe that's something that they look into in the offseason.
J.D. Drew, a left-hand hitter, takes low and inside, 1-0. Well, John Maine had problems earlier in the year with a finger that affected his ability to throw and his confidence in throwing that curveball. And so it's still a real work in progress. 1-0, fastball driven foul down the right field line as Drew got out in front. And the count even, a ball and a strike.
You don't want to always do this, but you can work a game with just a good four-seam fastball and maybe even a two-seamer as well. But you just have to make sure you have movement on that pitch. Not only movement to the plate, but also movement in the zone. Don't always keep it in the same spot. I mean, there's been a lot of guys that have been able to do that for lengths of their career.
There's a breaking ball swung on and missed by Drew, and the count 1-2. So Drew out in front. Not sure if that was a curveball or a changeup. Watching a replay, didn't have that much break to it. Probably a changeup, but the first off-speed pitch that we've seen Maine throw. So he's ahead 1-2. Now the pitch and a fastball high and outside, ball 2. Drew stayed healthy this year, and that's something that is very difficult to depend on. But he played in the most games of his career, 146. Maine to the belt. Kent leads from first. 2-2 pitch, foul straight back. No score. Nobody out top of the second. Kent being held on at first by Carlos Delgado. Mariano Duncan is the Dodgers' first base coach. Rich Donnelly at third. And now the 2-2 pitch to Drew. And a little dribbler up the third base side. Tough play. Maine barehands it. He'll have no play. And Drew is on with an infield hit. Well, it was a little squib between the mound, home plate, and third. And he put it right in the middle of that triangle. And so even though it was a weak hit off the end of the bat, the Mets now in some trouble here as the Dodgers put runners at first and second with nobody out.
A good pitch by John Maine. It was a little quicker than the changeup he threw earlier in the count to J.D. Drew. A couple miles faster, but still a very good pitch. It had him out front just a little bit. He just barely got the bat on the ball, and he deaded it. And he didn't try to do this, but he deaded it up the third base line. So now Grady Little has a decision to make. Russell Martin is much better against lefties than righties, but he's had a solid year. Do you try to bunt the runners over for Marlon Anderson and Wilson Betemit? I mean, both guys offensively are pretty good hitters, but it's decision time for Grady Little early in this ball game.
Betemit a switch hitter. Martin a right-hand batter. The first pitch, curveball, and it's high, 1-0. Martin batted .282 in his rookie season with 10 homers and 65 runs batted in. He was 0 for 2 against Maine in their only prior meeting last month. Infield at double play depth. Now the 1-0. And a breaking ball low outside, ball 2. So now Maine working into trouble here. That's the first slider he's thrown, and he missed by a wide margin. Anderson, the on-deck batter, is a left-hand hitter. Betemit behind him, a switch hitter, and then the pitcher, Derek Lowe. Here's the 2-0 pitch to Martin, and a fastball at the belt for a called strike one. One puzzling thing about John Maine has been his occasional loss of focus at points during the game. Generally, it's happened in the middle innings. Now the 2-1 pitch to Martin, and a fastball hit in the air off the fist down the right field line. Tough play for Green, back towards the wall. It's off the base of the wall. Kent got a slow start. Now he rounds third, coming home. Valentine's relay throws the plate, the slide. He is out. And now they've got the runner behind him coming in, and Drew is tagged out. How about that? 2 outs at home plate because Kent got a late start, not knowing if that ball was going to be caught or not. So Valentine nailed 2 for the price of 1. And holding at second is Russell Martin. 2 men away.
Well, Howie, that the entire play was helped out by the fact that the ball hit the base of the wall, and Sean Green played it perfectly and got a beautiful cutoff throw to Jose Valentine. Why J.D. Drew was that close to Jeff Kent, I have no idea. Rich Donnelly saw him in his sights. Kent was dead to rights, and Drew stopped between third and home and then just figured, all right, maybe I'll sneak past LaDuca. LaDuca didn't see it right away and then turned all of a sudden, and I think it was a surprise that this sold-out crowd that J.D. Drew was staring right in his sights.
So here's Marlon Anderson with 2 out. And a breaking ball swung on and missed, strike 1. So Russell Martin on at second base. They just give him a single, and they award him second base on the throw. Well, the Mets led the National League in outfield assists this year, but they got more than they bargained for there.
That's amazing. I mean, you don't often see a play like that. I mean, there are times when guys run up the sleeves of other guys, but that's amazing at that spot in the ball game.
Now the 0-1 to Anderson. Taken low inside, ball 1. So the game remains scoreless. First, Kent went in hands first. And then the same for Drew coming right behind him. Reminds you of that play at Yankee Stadium a bunch of years ago when a couple of Yankees were thrown out. It was Dale Berry and Bobby Meacham, I think, against the White Sox. Here's the 1-1 to Anderson. Curveball fouled off behind home plate, 1-2. All I remember was Carlton Fisk just tagging people as though they were coming through a turnstile.
That one seemed to be a little more active, though, around the plate than this one was. I don't know what J.D. Drew was thinking. Rich Donnelly, it's tough to tell on replays whether he was waving him home or not.
So now 1 ball, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Anderson hit .297 during the season with 12 home runs. They got him from Washington. The 1-2 pitch, fastball outside, ball 2. The on-deck hitter is a switch hitter, Wilson Bedeman. So go figure. Maine has allowed hits to all 3 batters he's faced in the inning. But no runs are in, and there are 2 men out. And Martin, the catcher, is leading from second. The outfield straight away. Maine ready. The 2-2 pitch. Hit on the ground down the third base line. A fair ball past right and into left field. Around third, Martin. He's coming home. Digging for second, Anderson. Floyd's throw is not in time as Anderson went in standing. It's an RBI double for Marlon Anderson, and the Dodgers have a 1-0 lead. So, Maine still has not retired a hitter here in the second inning. And the Dodgers have the first run of the game across.
Well, they haven't hit the baseball that hard with the exception of the ball that Russell Martin hit. That was the ball that bared inside to Marlon Anderson, and he fought it off inside the third base bag. And, you know, you think about the broken bat single by Jeff Kent, the dribbler up the third base line by J.D. Drew. Martin's ball was really the only one that was hit sharply from John Maine.
So now the Mets are going to walk Wilson Bedeman intentionally and try and get out of the inning by going after the pitcher Derek Lowe, who was just 6 for 64 on the year. So the Dodgers take the lead anyway. And now Maine throws intentional ball 3 to Wilson Bedeman. LaDuca holds his glove hand outside, now moves away and takes ball 4. And so with 2 out and runners at first and second, Derek Lowe will be the batter. Now remember, the Mets are going with a 12-man pitching staff during the postseason. And part of that is to give Willie Randolph the opportunity to go to his bullpen early, but really the only pure long man out there right now is Darren Oliver. Otherwise, he would have to really mix and match over a number of innings. But here's Lowe, and a fastball way upstairs, 1-0. And Maine was not close with that pitch to the Dodgers pitcher. 1-0 Los Angeles. They had 4 straight hits to start the inning. Anderson at second, Bedeman at first, and a throw to second, and Valentin applies a late tag on Anderson, who again goes in standing. I'll tell you what, Cliff Floyd almost caught Anderson napping and threw him out at second base on that little ground ball double. David Wright was playing off the line against the left-hand batter, and that's why there was so much room down there. Now the 1-0, and a breaking ball misses outside, ball 2. Rafael Furcal, a switch hitter, is on deck. Paul Oduka, the catcher, just goes out to the mound to hand the ball to Maine, just trying to slow him down a little bit. Lowe had 3 runs batted in during the season, 2 doubles. A right-hand batter, outfield very shallow, and a fastball in for a strike. It's 2-1. Now the shadows are starting to creep out into the outfield. They're about a quarter of the way out. Left fielder Floyd is in bright sunshine. Same for Beltran. 2-1 pitch, foul straight back off the hands, 2-2. And Sean Green, playing shallow and right, is actually ducking in and out of the shadows. So now the crowd comes to its feet. Dodgers 1, Mets nothing. 2 on, 2 out, top of the second. Maine from the third base side of the rubber has the sign from LaDuca. The 2-2 pitch, fastball, fouled straight back underneath us. And it remains 2-2. And every foul ball the Dodgers hit starts to drive Maine's pitch count up to a point where the Mets start to wonder what the toll will be and how long he can go. The 2-2 pitch, fastball, popped up foul behind home plate. And that is significant because Maine is not a pitcher who generally gives you a whole lot of length. I mean, on his average day, he's going to get you about 6 innings. And really, with the effectiveness of the Mets bullpen during the course of the regular season, that's what they want. Now the 2-2 on the way. Fastball swung on and missed. Strike 3. Side retired. The Mets very fortunate to come out of the inning having allowed just 1 run on 4 hits. No errors, 2 men left. Middle of the second, it's the Dodgers 1 and the Mets nothing on the WFAN Mets Radio Network. Floyd, Green, and Valentine here in the bottom of the second inning. Floyd batted .244 during a season in which he seemed to be questionable for just about every game. The 1-0 and a fastball nicks the inside corner, strike 1. Floyd took a cortisone shot a few days ago. He's going to have surgery on his left Achilles heel whenever the season ends. He already had surgery on the right Achilles. Here's the 1-1 pitch and a changeup outside and low ball 2. And I remember Floyd telling me about a month ago that he is so happy with the way the surgery on the right heel worked out, but he's actually kind of anxious to get the left one taken care of. Not that anybody's excited about having surgery. 2-1 pitch, curveball swung on and missed. Big looping curveball by Derek Lowe, and the count 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Well, the good thing for Floyd, too, is that once he has the surgery this offseason, Howie, he should be back in somebody's spring training on time without any difficulties.
That's one reason he wants to have it early. He's a free agent to be. 2-2 pitch, fastball ripped on the ground to second, gobbled up by Kent. He's got plenty of time and takes it as he throws to first to get Floyd, 1 man away. Kent looked like he went 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi. Might as well throw it, so here goes. And now Sean Green, a former Dodger, coming up. He'll be the 15th batter of the game. And Geico wants you to know that a 15-minute phone call could save you 15% or more on your car insurance. Call 1-800-947-AUTO. Green batted at .277 on the season with 15 home runs and 66 runs batted in. And he takes on the inside corner. No balls and 1 strike. But he has great numbers against Derek Lowe, faced in the American League. 10 for 24 with 3 homers. Outfield straightaway in the 0-1. Inside, 1 ball and 1 strike. We'll also look at the out-of-town scoreboard, brought to you by Foxwoods Resort Casino, the wonder of it all in Mystic Country, Connecticut. Oakland A's are up 2-0. 1-1 to Green. Breaking ball swung on and missed. Tight slider there by Lowe. And the count 1-2. Oakland beat the Twins 5-2. Mark Kotsay had an inside-the-park home run in the 7th inning with a man on for Oakland. 1-2 to Green. Breaking ball hit weakly on the ground foul up the first base side. Kiko Calero won it in relief. Pat Neshek lost it. Houston Street came up with a save for Oakland. Twins had back-to-back homers from Michael Kadire and Jason Morneau in the 6th inning, accounting for their runs. They're up 2-0 and going home. Here's the 1-2 to Green. And it's hit in the air to left field, not deep. For Call out, Anderson in. For Call taking charge and makes the catch. And he was fairly deep out in left field for where you'd expect your shortstop to range. But again, the ball is coming out of the shadows, and Anderson was stationed in the sunlight. It makes it somewhat difficult to pick up, and Call got a good job on and a good jump. Did a good job in getting back to him. So 2 out, nobody on for Jose Valentine. Yankees and Tigers will play Game 2 at the stadium tonight. Justin Verlander against Mike Messina. Yankees won the opener. Valentine takes low, 1-0. Valentine batted .271 with 18 home runs, 62 runs batted in. 1-0 Dodgers. 2 out, nobody on last of the second. Now the 1-0. And a breaking ball in for a strike, 1-1. John Maine is on deck. At least Maine lifted the burden of looking for his first major league hit off of his shoulders last weekend. 1-1, breaking ball in for a called strike 2. And Lowe starting to use that curveball and slider a little bit more often here in the 2nd inning, is ahead of Valentine 1-2. Now into the windup. Here's the pitch. Way inside with a fastball, 2-2.
We haven't seen enough of Derek Lowe this year, but you wonder if he's using the curve and the slider more often than the straight sinker. You wonder if he's having trouble just commanding that sinker right now these first couple of innings.
Mets have hit the ball in the air against him a couple of times. Green's recent pop-up and Reyes' shallow fly ball to start the game. J.D. Drew made a nice play on that one. Here's the 2-2. Another breaking ball swung on and missed, strike 3. Good inning for Lowe. Mets go in order at the end of 2. Dodgers 1, Mets nothing on the WFAN Mets Radio Network.
Sports Radio 66 WFAN New York.
Luxury, refinement, and sophistication describe my partner, Tom McCarthy, and they also come standard on the Chrysler 300. Chrysler, inspiration comes standard. Go ahead, Mr. Luxury, refinement, and sophistication.
Well, let's see if John May can refine himself here in the third. He faces Rafael Furcal. First pitch fastball taken up high. It's 1 ball and no strikes. Dodgers lead it 1-0 thanks to an RBI double off the bat of Marlon Anderson. Furcal is 0 for 1. 1-0 pitch, changeup, swung on and missed. And it's 1 ball and 1 strike. And John Maine has used that changeup a couple of times during the first few innings of this game. His fastball has been right where it needs to be at 93 miles an hour. The 1-1 pitch to Furcal. Another changeup down low, and it's 2 balls and 1 strike. David Wright, the third baseman, plays in on the grass. Reyes shortens up a little bit at shortstop. The same with Valentin at second. And Delgado is back behind the bag at first. And the outfielder straight away from left to right. As Maine's got his signs, here's the 2-1 pitch. Fastball popped up, left side of the diamond. Reyes backpedals onto the outfield grass. He's got it, and he makes the catch. And there's 1 man down. So they've retired Rafael Furcal both of his times to the plate. And with 1 man down, it brings Kenny Lofton to the plate. At Foxwoods Resort Casino, great entertainment is always in play. Check out everything from gaming and dining to the best shows and hottest clubs. For more, log on to foxwoods.com. Lofton is 0 for 1. He went down on strikes his only time up. 1 of 2 strikeouts for John Maine. Wright plays in on the grass again at third in the first pitch. Fastball outside and high, 1-0. Well, Kenny Lofton had himself a pretty good offensive year. He had 3-0-1 with 3 homers and 41 RBIs. 1-0, fastball outside again. It's 2-0. I mean, think about what Kenny Lofton has done these last couple of years. Usually a leadoff hitter the last 2 years, batting in the number 2 spot for the Phillies and the Dodgers. 2-0 pitch. Swung on it, missed, and the count is 2-1. Not only that, he's hit over 300 in both of those seasons. He's probably played more games these last 2 years than anybody anticipated when he was picked up first by the Phillies and then signed as a free agent by the Dodgers. 2-1 pitch to him. Swung on it, missed. And the count is 2 balls and 2 strikes. But he's combined with Rafael Furcal to swipe 69 bases this year. 2 balls, 2 strikes, the count to Lofton. Right in the wide, or Maine in the wide, the 2-2 pitch. Swung on and missed. He got him on the fastball. And Kenny Lofton is down swinging on strikes for the second time. And that's the 3rd strikeout overall for John Maine. And with 2 men down, it'll bring Nomar Garciaparra to the plate. Nomar is 0 for 1. He bounced out to third his only time up. Nomar finished the year .303 batting average with 20 home runs and 93 RBIs. And the first pitch from John Maine. Fastball taken for a strike. It's 0-1. Our contestant in the Time Warner Cable Triple Play Contest is Philip Volk from West New York, New Jersey. The 0-1 pitch to Nomar. Fastball hit in the air foul over the first base dugout, so the count is 0-2. If the Mets turn a triple play at any point in today's game, Philip will win $10,000. And if Philip is a Time Warner Cable customer, he will also receive triple play service free for 1 year. You still got time. Log on to FAN.com for more information. 0-2 pitch. Line drive toward deep right field. Sean Green goes back to the warning track, has room, reaches out, and he makes the catch. And the inning is over. Another 1-2-3 inning for John Maine. We head to the bottom of the third. 1-0 Dodgers on the WFAN Mets Radio Network. The first pitch from Derek Lowe. Fastball taken inside for a ball. It's 1-0. Maine finished up the year with a .036 batting average. 1 for 28. But he said that 1 felt pretty good. 1-0 pitch. Fastball taken for a strike on the outside corner. So it's 1-1. It was a double in his final start against the Washington Nationals to right center field. The infield is back. Here's the 1-1 from Lowe. Maine shows bunt, bunts the ball foul behind home plate. And the count is 1-2. Today's broadcast is proudly sponsored by Lennar Corporation, building residential communities and making dreams come true since 1954. Visit Lennar.com and discover how we care to be even better. Here's the 1-2 pitch from Lowe to Maine. Breaking ball, swung on and missed. And John Maine is down on strikes for the first out. And that's now 5 in a row retired by Derek Lowe. And it's his 2nd strikeout. And we'll head back to the top of the order for Jose Reyes. Reyes is 0 for 1. He flied out softly to right field his only time up. And if the Mets are going to be successful in this postseason, He remains the key to this ball club. Shows bunt, takes a breaking ball for a strike, and it's 0-1. Betemit, the third baseman, was playing way in on the grass. He came charging in when Reyes showed bunt. The outfield is straight away and surprisingly deep. 0-1 pitch. Swung on it, missed another curveball from Derek Lowe. And the count is 0-2.
Well, he has thrown that curveball and slider often now over the last 2 innings after almost exclusively fastballs early.
0-2 pitch. Breaking ball. Lofton in the air. Shallow center field. Lofton comes sprinting in. He battles the sun. Makes the catch on the glove side. And there's 2 men down. And with 2 outs, that'll bring Paul LaDuca to the plate.
You know, it's obvious to say Reyes and Wright are keys to how the Mets perform, but particularly in their first playoff series ever. It's interesting to see how they respond to the pressure in the different environment. And it may be instructive that Reyes, who has a tendency to be a little over-anxious sometimes, has hit the ball in the air twice. Ideally, you don't want him doing that. And when he is over-anxious, that's what happens.
And he hasn't hit the ball that sharply either. Both were soft fly balls, one to right field and one to shallow center field. So here's LaDuca. He's 0 for 1. He bounced out to Betemit his only time up. And the first pitch to him. Fastball outside. It's 1-0. LaDuca finished up the year with 5 home runs and 49 RBIs. And unlike a lot of his Mets teammates, he actually hit the ball well in September. He had .316 for the month. 1-0 pitch. Fastball taken knee-high for a strike. So it's 1-1. And the Mets, as a team, scored only 114 runs in the month of September. It's an average of 3.9 per game. The 1-1 pitch. Fastball on the outside corner for a strike, and it's 1-2. And that is about 2 runs less than what the Mets averaged the remainder of the year. But they showed some signs of life during the last 4 games against the Nationals and the Braves. They scored 30 runs. The 1-2 to LaDuca. Breaking ball taken down and away. And it's 2 balls and 2 strikes. And Paul has said, just like a lot of the Mets players, that the 4-game winning streak the Mets had to finish up the year was a good shot in the arm for them, because they had struggled so much since clinching the National League East. 2-2, fastball on the outside corner, called strike 3. LaDuca didn't like the call, and he goes back to the dugout, and the Mets are done here in the 3rd. 3 in the books. We head to the 4th, 1-0 LA on the WFAN Mets Radio Network.
Sports Radio 66 WFAN New York.
One of 2 guys thrown out at home plate on the same play back in the 2nd inning. John Maine in the line. Here's the first pitch. Breaking ball and a good one. Called a strike on the outside corner, and the count is 0-1. Well, Maine so far has struck out 3 in today's game. He's allowed 4 base hits. All 4 came in the 2nd inning when the Dodgers scored their run. With the infield back, here's the 0-1 pitch. Another breaking ball. That one just missed off the outside corner. So it's 1 ball and 1 strike. And it's so important for John Maine to get that breaking pitch over. To get the Dodger hitters off of his fastball, which has great life on it. He kicks and deals the 1-1. Fastball lined into left field. A base hit for Jeff Kent. He's aboard with his 2nd hit of the day. The Dodgers have the leadoff runner on for the 2nd time in the ballgame. And that'll bring J.D. Drew to the plate. Hey, fans, don't forget the Mets merchandise catalog is still available by calling 800-PRO-TEAM. That's 800-PRO-TEAM. With the holiday season coming up in a few months, you might want to take a look at that merchandise catalog for some gifts for family and friends. Again, 800-PRO-TEAM. Here's J.D. Drew. And Drew fires the first pitch foul behind home plate and out of play, and the count is 0-1. Drew singled his only time up. It was a soft ground ball single up the 3rd base side. So Kent is on first base, and the count 0-1 to J.D. Drew, the number 5 batter for Los Angeles. 0-1 pitch, changeup off the outside corner. So it's 1 ball and 1 strike. We'll take a look at the out-of-town scoreboard during this inning. It's brought to you by UPS. What can Brown do for you? John Maine looks over at first base, the 1-1. Ripped down the right field line, a foul ball into the seats. And the count is 1 ball and 2 strikes. One final score in the American League earlier today. Oakland increased their series lead over Minnesota to 2-0 with a 5-2 win over the Twins. Kiko Calero got the win. Houston Street picked up the save for the 2nd straight day. John Maine ready again, the 1-2 pitch. Fastball outside, 2-2. Mark Kotze hit a 2-run inside the park home run for the A's. That came in the 7th inning with the game tied at 2. And Oakland went on to win it 5-2, so now they head home with a 2-0 lead in that series. Here the Dodgers lead it 1-0, top of the fourth. Maine tosses over to first base. Kent gets back standing. The Yankees and the Tigers will play later on at the stadium. Justin Verlander against Mike Mussina. The Yankees won last night. Maine set again, the 2-2 pitch. Outside and high, another fastball. And the count is 3 balls and 2 strikes. Well, usually for John Maine, the first inning is problematic, and then at some point, midway through his outings, that's where he starts to run into some problems. Here's the 3-2 pitch to Drew. Fastball on the outside corner, called strike 3. Drew was already walking to first base. John Hirschbeck rung him up. And there's the first out here in the 4th inning. But even with the troubles and the struggles that Maine sometimes has, if he can get himself back in a confident zone, he's usually fine. And that's what he's trying to do here, down 1-0. He's allowed 5 hits through the first 4 innings of this game. And that'll bring Russell Martin to the plate. He singled his only time up and eventually came around and scored the only run of the day. Maine tosses over to first base. Jeff Kent gets back easily. Kent is not a threat to run. Middle infield looks to turn 2. Reyes shortens up a little bit. Same with Valentine. And Maine dusts off the mound before he gets the signs from LaDuca. He's set. And another toss over to first base, and Kent walks back to the bag. Well, the Mets are hoping that John Maine responds today with very little notice that he was going to be the starting pitcher. The way he responded back on July 21st, when he also subbed for El Duque against the Astros and pitched a complete game 4-hitter. The pitch to Martin. Hit in the air, left side of the diamond. David Wright backpedals. He calls Reyes off, settles under it, makes the catch right on the edge of the infield dirt. And there's the second out here in the 4th inning. That's a good pitch by John Maine, a slider off the outer edge. And now with 2 men down and a runner on first, it'll bring Marlon Anderson to the plate. During that game against the Astros, Maine had a fantastic fastball. He wound up striking out 4. He walked 1 and allowed those 4 base hits, but that really was the beginning of what was a tremendous run for Maine. 26 consecutive scoreless innings. The pitch to Anderson is hit fouled on the left field line and into the seats, and the count is 0-1.
Anderson's been something of a pain in the neck against Maine. You might remember in Maine's first start against the Dodgers last month, he loaded the bases with 2 out and looked like he got out of it when Anderson hit a ground ball to third, but David Wright threw it away and 2 runs scored, and Anderson kept the inning going with an RBI double in the second.
0-1 pitch to him. Fastball outside. It's 1 ball and 1 strike. And that was one of the rough outings for John Maine. And that's the first inning that we talk about, Howie. I mean, he could have been out of that inning if David had made the play at third, but he also got himself into that inning because he struggled with his command. Here's the 1-1 pitch to Anderson. Hit in the air, foul over the third base dugout, out of play. And the count is 1 ball and 2 strikes.
Yeah, in that game he gave up hits to the first 2 batters he faced, walked someone along the way, and the pitcher who was the winner for the Dodgers is the left-hander the Mets will see tomorrow night, Hong-Chi Kuo.
Hong-Chi Kuo met with the media today, as did Tom Glavine, to chat about their Game 2 start. 1-2 the count to Marlon Anderson. Kent leads off first. The pitch from John Maine. Swing and a miss. He got him on a changeup, and Anderson went fishing down in the zone, and John Maine has picked up his 5th strikeout on the afternoon. For the Dodgers, no runs, 1 hit, 1 man left. We head to the middle of 4th. 1-0 L.A. on the WFAN Mets Radio Network. Buying or selling a car, pick up or click up Car Buyers Market. Weekly at the newsstand or find them online. It's Greater New York's Car Buyer's Choice. Hey fans, don't forget to visit the official online shop of the Mets at Mets.com. Browse the largest selection of authentic postseason gear, including locker room caps and T-shirts, jerseys, sweatshirts, and more. Get your Mets postseason gear straight from the source. The online shop at Mets.com. Home half of the 4th inning, 1-0 Dodgers. Carlos Beltran leads it off against Derek Lowe. Lowe in the wind in the first pitch. That's a sinker taken for a strike along the knees, and the count is 0-1. Beltran worked out a walk his only time up and was stranded on third. The Dodgers lead it 1-0 here in the bottom of the 4th inning. Here's the 0-1 pitch. Fastball chopped on the ground towards second. Nice room service hop for Jeff Kent. And he tosses to first in time to get Beltran. And there's 1 man down. In the first few innings, Derek Lowe has thrown more sliders and changeups than sinkers, and you never know. Now, as he gets deeper into this ball game, a second time through the lineup, maybe he starts to throw more of the sinkers.
I think particularly against the guys like Beltran and Delgado and Wright and Floyd, who can hit the ball out of the park.
Well, Delgado singled his only time up, so he's 1 for 1. The Dodgers play him the pull, not a drastic overshift. Betemit is wide of the bag at third, and the pitch. Fastball off the outside corner for a ball. It's 1-0. Lowe finished the year with 16 wins and a 3.63 ERA. And in his final victory, he picked up career win number 100. The 1-0 pitch to Delgado. Breaking ball, that's over for strike. And it's 1 ball and 1 strike. In 1999, 2000, and 2001, he was the Red Sox closer. He had 42 saves back in 2000. 1-1 pitch. Fastball down and away. It's 2-1 to Delgado. In 2001, he picked up 24 saves, but really started to struggle as the Red Sox closer, so they put him back into the starting rotation. The 2-1 pitch to Delgado, hit high in the air to straightaway center field. Lofton goes back to the warning track, near the wall, watches it go, it's gone! Carlos Delgado, a solo home run to straightaway center field, has tied the ball game up at 1 apiece. In his first postseason game, and the Mets are on the board.
That is as emotional as I have seen Carlos Delgado after hitting a home run. Pumping teammates with high fives and fist bumps. So much so you hope nobody got hurt down there, because that's how hard he was firing away with those fists. Gets a big hug from Julio Franco.
So here's David Wright. Wright takes the first pitch fastball for strike 1. It's 0-1.
But again, we talked about the sinker and how that's Lowe's effective pitch to the power hitters. Well, he threw a curveball to Delgado, who lost it over the center field fence.
Here's the 0-1 to David Wright. Fastball way inside. 1 ball and 1 strike. Well, Carlos has shown an awful lot of emotion today. First on the foul pop down the first base side earlier in the ball game when he couldn't grab that. And there with that big home run, the 1-1 pitch. That's sinker taken for strike 2. It's 1 ball and 2 strikes. There are camera platforms just to the left of the 410 side and straightaway center field. And the ball went right past those camera platforms. Low in the wide. Here's the 1-2 to Wright. Fastball just missed off the outside corner. Wright checked his swing. They don't even appeal to the first base umpire, Ted Barrett. So it's 2 balls and 2 strikes. Betemit, the third baseman, played back behind the bag. The same with Garcia Parra, the first baseman. Ken is shaded toward the middle. Here's the 2-2 to Wright. Fastball right down the heart of the plate. A called strike 3. And David goes down looking for the second out here in the 4th inning. They're frozen by Derek Lowe. And with 2 men down, it brings Cliff Floyd to the plate. Floyd grounded out to second base, his only time out. Hit the ball sharply. But he's 0 for 1. The outfield is straight away from left to right. Marlon Anderson is awfully deep in left field for Floyd. So he took a cortisone shot before the end of the year. Got a chance to play in the final game against the Washington Nationals on Sunday, and felt like after that game that he was as good as he's going to be for these playoffs. First pitch to him, fisted foul behind home plate, and the count is 0-1.
2 things about Marlon Anderson. One, he is not a very experienced outfielder and might not have that great of a comfort zone going back on balls, but particularly against Floyd because of the Achilles problem. You know, you don't have to worry that much about the extra base hit with Cliff.
Well, with that said, J.D. Drew is a few steps back in right field, and Lofton normally plays a deep center field. 0-1 pitch. Fastball down and away. 1 ball and 1 strike.
I think you fear Floyd getting the ball over your head a little bit more than you do his dunking one in front of you. Because Floyd does have good power the other way.
Lowe's got his signs. Here's the 1-1 pitch. Up high, a fastball. 2 balls and 1 strike. I have to admit I'm surprised with the number of sliders that Lowe has thrown early in this ball game. If only because his sinker had been working so well in the final month of the season and really back through the month of August as well. The second and third innings, basically all he threw were breaking pitches to the Mets hitters. Here's the 2-1 pitch. Fastball hit high in the air toward deep right field. Drew goes back to the fence, just to watch. It's gone. A solo home run for Cliff Floyd. The second one of the inning for the Mets. And they take a 2-1 lead. A high towering shot by Cliff Floyd just to the right of the 371 side, short of the scoreboard in right center field. And man, was that a bomb off the bat of Cliff Floyd. So 2-1 Mets, and here's Sean Green. And the first pitch to Green. Breaking ball, that's inside for ball one. It's 1-0. Well, that's got to feel awfully good for Cliff, who just wasn't sure how that Achilles would hold up as we went into the postseason. 1-0. Fastball outside, 2-0.
And as good as that felt for Cliff, I'll bet you that's how badly that Derek Lowe wanted that ball back from the instant it left his hands, because that was a fastball up and right down the heart of the plate.
Here's the 2-0 pitch to Sean Green. Breaking ball, that's over the outside corner for strike. It's 2-1.
And even with Cliff Floyd playing irregularly over the last month or so, you still throw a fastball in that spot to him, it's got a chance to go a long way.
2-1 pitch to Green, outside for ball three. It's 3-1. Well, we talked about the cortisone shot that he got before the weekend series against the Nationals. On Saturday, he wasn't sure if the cortisone shot was even helping at all. In fact, when we got to the ballpark on Sunday, we knew he'd play, but we just didn't know what kind of condition he'd be in. Count 3-1 to Green. Here's the pitch from Derek Lowe. Breaking ball, check swing. Did he go? Yes, he did. To the home plate umpire, John Hirschbeck. And the count is full 3-2. So 2-1 Mets here in the bottom of the fourth inning. They've got 2 solo home runs in the inning, only 3 base hits overall. And Derek Lowe, who gave up just 14 home runs in the regular season, has given up 2 here in the fourth. The payoff pitch. Breaking ball hit foul behind home plate. The count holds full 3-2. And boy, that one hung up there for Sean Green's liking, and he just missed it. So Lowe asked for a new baseball from John Hirschbeck. The Dodgers wearing their traditional road grays for game 1 of this series. The Mets in the all-white uniforms. Green, a left-handed hitter, taps the plate one time, comes ready. And Lowe kicks and deals the payoff pitch. Fastball on the inside corner, called strike 3. And Green is down looking on strikes. But the Mets get 2 runs on solo homers by Carlos Delgado and Cliff Floyd. We head to the 5th. Gary Cohen will join Howie Rose on the WFAN Mets Radio Network.
Sports Radio 66 WFAN New York.
2-1 Mets as we start the 5th. Wilson Betemit takes strike 1, and John Maine back with a pitch that's low and rolls away from LaDuca, 1-1. I've got to admit, I woke up in a cold sweat this morning, and there I was laying in bed next to my wife, Suzanne Plachette, and I said, honey, you would not believe the dream that I had last night. 1-1 breaking ball ripped into right center. That's a base hit for Betemit. Hustling into the gap to cut it off is Beltran. He holds Betemit to a single. In fact, Beltran throws in behind the runner, but Delgado plays it well off the bag. So a leadoff single to Betemit. And, of course, in her gravelly voice, she says, what kind of dream? And I said, well, I actually dreamt that Gary Cohen left radio voluntarily to do television. And she started laughing and said, well, now who would believe that? Derek Lowe squares the bunt, takes outside 1-0. Well, Gary Cohen is sitting next to me right now, so I guess it was a dream, right?
I have to tell you, I am about as nervous as I've been in 20 years.
Really?
This is great.
Well,
Ballpark's filled. I'm back sitting next to you. Maybe it was all a dream.
Lowe squares, bunts back to the mound rather hard. Maine looks to second, but throws to first. Valentine covers, and it's a sacrifice, 1-4. So Betemit in scoring position with 1 out, representing the tying run. And now for Carl and Lefton, Kenny Lofton, a couple of guys who will bat left-handed against John Maine.
I have to tell you, the shrimp in the SNY suite is awfully good.
Really?
When you get an inning off, if you happen to get an inning off, you might want to cruise down there and just partake.
Well, they told me we have caviar in the FAN booth, right?
That's only because Madge is here.
Probably. Well, now Betemit at second. Rafael Furcal lined to Reyes at short, and then popped to Reyes at short. And, Gary, this is a very important 3 outs for John Maine to get here, trying to keep the Dodgers off the board and keep the Mets in front. First pitch to Furcal on the inside corner for a strike. It's 0-1.
Well, you got Bradford and Feliciano getting ready in the bullpen. And the key to stopping this Dodger team is to keep the table setters off base. And so far, Maine's done a good job of that.
Betemit leading from second. Now the 0-1, and it's taken upstairs. 1 ball and 1 strike to Furcal. Furcal generally delivered in these situations during the year. He was 8th in the National League with men in scoring position, batting .346 in that department. Beltran fairly shallow in center. Swing and a miss at a fastball, 1-2. And now Maine goes back behind the mound. Goes to his brows. He climbs back up onto the rubber. Ball staying in the box. Maine from the first base side of the rubber has the sign. 1-2 pitch. Fastball high and outside. 2-2. And still, we have seen Maine use those secondary pitches, particularly the curveball, sparingly this afternoon. Not many curveballs at all from Maine. The 2-2 to Furcal. Fastball foul back to the screen.
I mean, let's face it, in a spot where he's bound to have been nervous at the start, John Maine went to what he is, which is a fastball pitcher. He throws a fastball 80% of the time. He has all season. He's had success with it, and I'm sure Paul LaDuca has encouraged him to throw that fastball in every tight spot.
Right off the line at third. Now the 2-2 pitch. There's a breaking ball, but it sits high. Full count. First base is open here, but you've got Kenny Lofton on deck. Maine has handled Lofton well with a couple of strikeouts. But he'd love to get Furcal here. 3-2 with 1 out. Maine delivers, and it's low, ball 4. So Furcal trots down to first base. Looked like Maine just threw a changeup on 3-2, trying to get Furcal out in front. And now the double play is in order.
And I think, Howie, that's a deference to the fact that he really has made Lofton look bad twice in a row. And even though Lofton still, at age 39, is tough to double up with first base open, there's no sense messing around with Furcal and throwing him a fastball in that spot.
And Willie Randolph is going out to the mound now, and he's got some choices here. Remember, the Mets have a 12-man bullpen. And with Feliciano and Bradford throwing, this is going to be it. Now, Willie's not worried about trying to get John Maine a win. Maine gets a very healthy pat on the back from David Wright, takes the ball, gives it to Willie Randolph, and gets a standing ovation as he heads towards the dugout. This call to the bullpen is brought to you by Foxwoods Resort Casino, the wonder of it all in Mystic Country, Connecticut. Cantor Pedro Feliciano, who during the season was 7-2 with a 2.09 earned run average. Lofton, a left-hand hitter, had been struck out twice by Maine. Runners at first and second, 1 out. And Pedro's first pitch is taken outside, a fastball, 1-0. And Gary, I think we're getting an early window into how Willie Randolph plans to manage with this 12-man bullpen.
Well, I think that was the indication with all those relievers that he would not be afraid of getting 4 or 5 innings out of the bullpen every day.
The 1-0, fouled straight back, a ball and a strike on Lofton.
But I was a little surprised at this move only because Maine had made Lofton look so bad in his first 2 at-bats.
And it may very well be just a 1-batter assignment for Feliciano, because Chad Bradford had been throwing in the bullpen, and you've got Nomar Garcia-Parra and Jeff Kent, right-hand hitters both, behind Lofton. 2-1 New York. Pedro with a 1-1. And a breaking ball. Did he go around? They'll check at third, and no, says third base up, Ron Culpa. So it's 2-1 now to Lofton. Lefties hit .231 against Feliciano during the season. The Mets also have Royce Ring as a situational left-hander available. Now the 2-1 pitch. Swing and a miss at a changeup, and the count 2-2. David Wright had been playing even with a bag at third. Wright now kicking at some dirt. Will probably take a step back. He's been playing just a shade in front of the bag. Remember, Marlon Anderson tucked one inside the line in the second inning for a run-scoring double, with Wright well off the line against the left-hand batter. Betemit at second. Furcal at first. Good speed aboard. The outfield straight away. Feliciano ready. The 2-2 pitch. Swing and a looping foul ball. That'll reach the seats behind third base. Still 2-2, and LaDuca will hand-deliver a new ball to Feliciano.
And, you know, Howie, in a year that has produced so many pleasant surprises to the Mets, Jose Valentin, Andy Chavez, I think sometimes Pedro Feliciano gets overlooked in that company because here's a guy who for the first time in his career was handed a real role and has run with it. And the decision a couple of years ago of Rick Peterson to have him drop his arm angle to make him a more effective situational relief pitcher has paid off in spades.
Every situation that he's faced in his major league career has led to this one. His first appearance in a postseason game, with the Mets leading 2-1 and runners at first and second. Benedict leads from second, Percal from first. The 2-2 to Lofton. Swing and a miss and a breaking ball. And Lofton goes down on strikes. Third time that he is struck out, and now let's see if Willie makes another move. Here he comes, and it looks like Feliciano will leave after one batter. The sign goes to the bullpen, and this call to the bullpen is brought to you by Digital Phone from Time Warner Cable. Call 800-OK-CABLE. That triple play is some deal. You get all three services for one low price, and you only have to pay one bill. Time Warner Cable has got it right, making everything so user-friendly and simple. Obviously, nothing is going to be simple this afternoon. The Dodgers, with runners at first and second now, 2 men out, and Chad Bradford will come on to pick up for Pedro Feliciano, who did his job by striking out Kenny Lofton. Now Bradford faces Nomar Garciaparra. Although both played for the Red Sox, they were not there at the same time. Garciaparra is 2-for-8 against Bradford, who makes his 11th Division Series appearance in his career. So he's been through this before. 2-1 New York. Garciaparra 0-for-2. And Bradford's first pitch taken on the outside corner, a fastball, 0-1. Such as it is, a fastball at 80 miles per hour. Good speed aboard. Benedict at second. Percal at first. The Mets 2, the Dodgers 1. We're in the fifth. Bradford from the first base side of the rubber deals, and it's hit on the ground to short. Play to the hole by Reyes. Goes to second. Forced play, side retired. No runs, one hit, no errors, 2 left. Middle of the fifth at Shea. It's the Mets 2 and the Dodgers 1 on the WFAN Mets Radio Network. We go to the last of the fifth inning. It's 2-1 New York. Jose Valentin leads off against Derek Lowe, and the right-hander's first pitch and on the ground hard to first. Backhanded by Garciaparra, who takes it to the bag himself, 1 man away. Keeping up with the stats on the price of a cup of coffee lately? Well, the New York Board of Trade has all the play-by-play. Log on to NYBOT.com to find out what's hot and what's not on New York's original futures exchange, where the world trades coffee and a whole lot more. And Gary, it looks like Willie Randolph is going to use every bit of that bullpen that he can to try to preserve this lead, because Michael Tucker's going to hit for Chad Bradford.
And Guillermo Mota's up in the bullpen, and you wonder what the plan is. Is it Mota for 1, Heilman for 2, or the other way around?
Well, here's Tucker, left-hand batter, and he takes a slider low inside 1-0.
Or is Willie thinking about splitting up in the 8th inning and giving part of it to Billy Wagner, something he really hasn't done much this year?
Now the 1-0 swung on and missed, a sinker by Lowe. 1 ball, 1 strike. Tucker hit 196 over 56 at-bats with 1 home run and 6 runs batted in. That home run was in Washington, which ultimately gave the Mets a victory in August. And the 1-1 curveball, low outside. 2 balls and 1 strike to Tucker with Reyes on deck. So Feliciano and Bradford each retired the only batter that they faced. And Guillermo Mota, a former Dodger, will get the 6th inning, at least. Here's the 2-1. Breaking ball in for a call, strike 2. So John Maine not eligible for a win. Willie Randolph and about 56,000 people here could care less about that. He went 4 1/3, gave up a run on 6 hits. Now the 2-2, and it's taken low, full count to Tucker. And it certainly could have been a lot worse for Maine were it not for a play that invoked the memories of Carlton Fisk, Dale Berra, Bobby Meacham.
You know, that's the only instance that I can recall where 2 guys got tagged out at the plate on a play like that. But this one, well, this was a little different.
Here's the payoff pitch. Breaking ball hit on the ground foul, first base side.
Because if it had not been for the heads-up play of John Maine to point out to Paul LaDuca that J.D. Drew was on his way, Drew might have snuck a run.
Of course, that White Sox-Yankees game was in August, and this is a postseason game, and what was funny back then isn't funny in the Dodger dugout now. Payoff pitch hit on the ground, foul outside first, fielded by Garciaparra. So we'll pause for station identification on the WFAN Mets Radio Network.
A's beat the Twins today 5-2. Oakland takes a commanding 2-0 series lead. Steve Summers follows Mets playoff baseball on WFAN New York.
Howie Rose, Tom McCarthy, Gary Cohen with you from Shea. 2-1 New York. 1 out, nobody on last of the 5th. Payoff pitch to Tucker. Popped up, shallow left field. Back goes the shortstop for Call onto the grass, and he makes the catch for the second out. 2 out, nobody on. Reyes coming up. Open and no minimum balance telephone betting account at New York City OTB. Call 1-800-OTB-8118. New York City OTB. We bring the race to you. Tom McCarthy is like a pitcher in Japan. I don't know if you know this, but in Japanese baseball, a pitcher will complete his inning on the mound, go back to the dugout, and while the other team is hitting, he starts warming up again. So Tom's warming up for the 6th. Jose Reyes swings and misses. 0-1. Reyes has hit it in the air weakly twice, which may be attributable to some over-aggressiveness and anxiousness in his first postseason game. He's flied to right, flied to center. Now the 0-1. And a curveball outside, 1-1.
And it's interesting watching a young player like Reyes in his first postseason game versus Delgado in his first postseason game, who didn't try to do too much his first at bat, hit the ball the other way, and paid off for him big time.
1-1 pitch, fouled straight down. And the count of ball and 2 strikes on Jose. The sun is beginning to set. Although there is still plenty of daylight, the sun is no longer a factor, though. The lights are on here at Shea. There is a little bit of cloud cover overhead, but a very pleasant afternoon. 1-2 pitch, swung on and missed. A changeup, and that retires the side. 6th strikeout for a low, and the Mets go in order. At the end of 5, it's the Mets 2, the Dodgers 1. Tom McCarthy joins Gary for the 6th inning next on the WFAN Mets Radio Network.
Sports Radio 66 WFAN New York.
6th inning at Shea Stadium. Mets with a 2-1 lead, and Guillermo Mota will take over the pitching as we go to the 6th. Gary Cohen sitting next to Tom McCarthy. Tom, this is fun, isn't it?
This is great watching the crowd get into this game so far. The first couple innings with John Maine on the mound when he was getting 2 strikes against hitters, I mean, it was explosive. I mean, this is what you remember from a Shea Stadium crowd, when the playoffs roll around.
Well, for Guillermo Mota, it has been a complete and utter turnaround this season. The former Dodger started the year with the Indians, where he had an ERA of about 6.5. And since joining the Mets, it has been exactly the other end of the scale. Rick Peterson moved Mota over on the rubber. Paul Lo Duca, who was his catcher in Los Angeles, is his catcher in New York. And for whatever reason, his fastball changeup combination has been befuddling the National League much as it did during his heyday with the Dodgers, setting up for Eric Gagne. First man to face him will be Jeff Kent in the top of the 6th. The Dodgers have 6 hits, but they've managed only 1 run, having run themselves out of at least 1 and maybe 2 runs back in the 2nd. And Kent hits the first one on the ground to short, gobbled up by Reyes, fires to Delgado in time, 1 away. And Kent is retired for the first time today. So 1 out and nobody on. And it'll bring up J.D. Drew. Drew was the runner at first base when Russell Martin hit the ball off the wall in right field back in the 2nd inning. Kent held up at second base to tag. He was thrown out at the plate on a relay by Jose Valentin, and Drew, for some reason, followed him down the line toward home plate, stopped, and when Paul Lo Duca, for a moment, didn't realize Drew was coming, made a dash for the plate, but Lo Duca recovered and tagged him out. And Drew takes a slider for a strike, 0-1. J.D. Drew drove in 100 runs this year for the first time in his career. He was able to stay healthy for one of the rare seasons. Mota's 0-1, and it swung and missed the changeup. And Mota quickly in front on Drew, 0-2.
You know, you haven't seen that kind of play that we saw early in the ballgame when Drew was thrown out right after Jeff Kent was thrown out. I didn't see if Rich Donnelly was waving him or not. I can't imagine he was waving him.
Crowd comes to life with 2 strikes on Drew. Mota delivers. Changeup just off the outside corner. 1 ball and 2 strikes. John Hirschbeck, the home plate umpire, generally regarded as a pitcher's umpire, and for the most part, he's called a fair strike zone today. Lights have been on here at Shea since the start of the ball game, and now they're starting to take hold a little bit at 5:43 in the afternoon. 2-1 New York, 6th inning. 1-2 to Drew. Swinging a tapper foul back toward the Dodgers on deck circle, and it holds 1-2 on J.D. Drew. Well, Willie Randolph pulled John Main after 4 1/3. He did his job today as the emergency Game 1 starter, allowed 1 run and 6 hits. Pedro Feliciano and Chad Bradford each did their jobs, retiring the only batter to face them. And now it's Mota for the 6th, and who knows what Willie does from here. Does he stay with Mota for the 7th or go to Aaron Howman? Probably depends how Mota does here in the 6th. The head on Drew, 1-2. LaDuca sets up outside. The 1-2 pitch. Fastball just misses away. And it's even on Drew. 2 balls and 2 strikes. 96 miles an hour on that last Mota fastball. Drew, a left-hand batter. Right-hand hitting Russell Martin is out on deck. The outfield playing straight away against Drew. Right well off the line at third. 2-2 to Drew. Low and inside, and a full count, 3-2. So after Mota got ahead of Drew 2 strikes, he missed wide a couple of times, then tried to come inside with a changeup and missed. And now Drew has worked the count to 3-2.
Well, depending on what Willie Randolph wants to do, that's why Jeff Kent swinging at that first pitch was so helpful for Guillermo Mota, but also, depending on how this inning rolls around, helpful for Willie Randolph, too.
3-2 to Drew. The payoff pitch. Swing and a miss. He struck him out. Guillermo Mota threw a fastball by J.D. Drew. That's the 7th strikeout this afternoon for Met pitching. 2 out and nobody on.
Well, this is a free swinging Dodgers team, so if you can get them to 2 strikes, if you could, slip a pitch by them, they will swing, and they will swing and miss often, too.
So 2 out and nobody on. It'll bring up Russell Martin, who set that whole crazy sequence in motion in the 2nd inning by hitting one the other way off the fence in right field for what would ultimately be credited as a single. And he swings and misses at the changeup, 0-1. Martin, one of a slew of legitimate National League Rookie of the Year candidates. In any other year, he might win. This year, he might finish 10th. I've never seen a year like this for rookies in the National League. The 0-1 to Martin. It's on the outside corner of strike, and Mota again gets ahead 0-2.
I think the Marlins have a lot to do with that, Gary, just because of the number of rookies that they obviously have on their roster, but also successful rookies. That's part of it, too.
Now 55,000 plus on their feet here at Shea. Mota's ahead on Martin, 0-2 with 2 out. The 0-2 pitch. Swing and a miss. He struck him out with a changeup. Mota with back-to-back strikeouts, and the Dodgers are retired in order in the top of the 6th. Nothing across. Middle of the 6th in Game 1. Mets 2, Dodgers 1 on the WFAN Mets Radio Network. Paul LaDuca leads off in the home 6th inning. LaDuca 0 for 2, and he bluffs a bunt, takes a strike from low, 0-1. This afternoon, the A's made it 2 straight over the Twins at the Metrodome, winning 5-2. A 2-run inside the park home run by Mark Kotze snapped a 2-2 tie in the 7th as Torrey Hunter made an ill-advised dive, and now the Twins in an 0-2 hole. And LaDuca hits one toward the hole, through into left field for a base hit. And so the Mets get the leadoff man on for the first time today against Derek Lowe. Only their 4th hit of the game.
Gary, did you see Kotze running around third base with his jersey out of his pants?
He was completely out of gas. I mean, you talk about leaking oil. It was a sight to behold, but somehow he made it home. Well, here's Beltran. He's walked and grounded out. Lowe delivers. It's hit in the air to shallow center field. Out goes Furcal. A long run in for Lofton, so Furcal will take charge. And he makes the catch to retire Beltran, 1 away. So Beltran first pitch swinging, 1 out and 1 on. And it'll bring up Carlos Delgado, who has certainly had a ringing debut in postseason play. First time up with 2 out and Beltran at first. With the Dodgers shifted but not overshifted, Delgado hit one to the normal shortstop position that went through for a base hit. Clearly not trying to do too much against Lowe's sinker. Next time up, Lowe got one up, and Delgado hit it 470 feet over the center field fence for his first postseason home run. That tied the game. 2 batters later, Cliff Floyd homer to give the Mets this 2-1 lead. Now we're in the bottom of the 6th. LaDuca at first and 1 out, and Delgado takes wide, 1 away. The Yankees and Tigers play Game 2 of their series tonight. Mike Messina against Justin Verlander. San Diego and St. Louis play Game 2 tomorrow with the Cardinals up 1-0. And the other major news today. The Rangers firing Buck Showalter. 1-0 pitch, and it's taken low by Delgado. 2 balls and no strikes. No action in the Dodger bullpen. Whereas Willie Randolph had the quick hook for his not expected Game 1 starter, Grady Little will go as far as he can with his ace on the mound. Certainly ace in the absence or the questionable status of Brad Penny. 2-0 to Delgado. Hit on the ground toward the middle. Base hit going into center field. Loduca around second. He'll go to third against the weak arm of Lofton. And the Mets have runners at the corners with 1 man down. A 2-0 slider from low, and Delgado took it right back up the middle.
Well, you see the emotion that Carlos Delgado has played with today. It was interesting watching early in the ball game when he went into the crowd to try to pull back a pop-up, and he got caught in that crowd, and he came out extremely aggravated at the fact that not only that he didn't make the catch, but also that he was interfered with when he went into the crowd. Now, it was the patron's right to go after the baseball because it was back into the seats, but the emotion that he showed after he couldn't get to that ball, I mean, it's not something that we often see from Carlos Delgado. After he hit the long home run, yes, he did show emotion, and that is somewhat often, but this has been an impressive first game for Delgado in the postseason.
Rick Honeycutt, the Dodger pitching coach, is out to the mound. And the Dodgers will get double barrel action going in their bullpen, and Brad Penny is one of the 2 pitchers who's loosening up.
And Mark Hendrickson, the big left-hander, is the other one. I'm surprised that Penny would be up, only because they weren't sure what his status would even be for this entire series. Although Grady Little did say yesterday, and he reiterated it again today, if he feels like he needs to get an out, a strikeout, then Penny could be his guy.
It also gives them a window as to his availability for Game 4 if they just get him up in the bullpen here and air him out. So here's David Wright with a chance to give the Mets a little cushion. 1st and 3rd and 1 out. Wright is 0 for 2. Low delivers, and he misses outside. 1 ball, no strikes. David has bounced into a 4th play and taken a call 3rd strike. Loduca at 3rd, Delgado at 1st, and not much speed aboard with 1 away. 2-1 New York, bottom of the 6th. The 1-0 to Wright. Bounced foul toward the third base dugout. 1 ball and 1 strike. The Dodgers shorthanded in their bullpen because of the absence of Joe Beimel, who has been their situational lefty, but Beimel cut his hand on a water glass in his hotel room on Tuesday, and thus Hendrickson, who was not going to be on their postseason roster, is their lone lefty in the bullpen.
Yeah, in fact, he came to the ballpark today hoping to be able to grip a baseball and toss a baseball, but he wasn't able to do so.
Right on 1-1, fouls it off to the right now to play. 1 ball and 2 strikes.
And that's a huge loss because Hendrickson is not a situational lefty. He's just a lefty that's more of a long guy than anything else. I mean, you have Floyd in the on-deck circle, so maybe that's the right time to bring him in. He's not used to pitching in this kind of situation.
And he's been very untrustworthy in every situation down the stretch of the season. Low ahead on Wright, 1-2. Now the pitch. Line the other way toward right field. Over goes Drew. He can't get it. Extra base hit bouncing to the wall. Loduca scores. Delgado to 3rd. He's being waved around. The relay by Kent to the plate. Not in time. Straight into 3rd. 2-run double for David Wright. And the Mets have a 4-1 lead. David Wright's first postseason hit. He goes the other way and drives home 2.
Well, it wasn't the prettiest of slides for Carlos Delgado. He actually came up way short of home plate. Fortunately, though, for him, the throw was up the third base line. Matty Acta took a chance that there would be, not a late throw, but it would be offline, and it paid off. And on the play, Wright moved over to 3rd, which is so important because now the Dodgers might be forced to play the infield in with Cliff Floyd. He's hit the ball sharply twice. Not only the home run, but also his ground ball his first time up. He hit that ball sharply. So who knows, with the infield playing in, the Mets could tack on another run.
Russell Martin, on instructions from the dugout, is out to the mound, and it looks like Grady Little is contemplating whether he wants to bring in the lefty here with Floyd and Green coming up. In fact, Floyd went all the way back to the on-deck circle, I think anticipating a pitching change, but Little's going to stay with Derek Lowe.
And this is interesting, too. Russell Martin says there's at least 2 times during the course of a ball game that he's got to go out and just refocus Derek Lowe.
Infield in. Floyd takes the breaking ball outside. 1 ball and no strikes. Cliff hit his first postseason home run in the 4th inning. Now batting with the infield in with Wright at 3rd. And 1 out. The 1-0. And Lowe stays with the breaking ball. It misses away. 2 balls and no strikes. And clearly Lowe pitching carefully here to Floyd after giving up a home run. He's going to afford to walk him with Green on deck, a double play candidate, and now they're going to give Cliff an intentional walk. And now the question is, does Lowe stay in? He's the ground ball pitcher to try and get Green to hit into the double play, or do they go to the left-hander?
Well, he's been successful against Green today with the sliders more so than the sinker. Lifetime Green has great numbers against Derek Lowe, and Grady Little's headed out to the mound.
So that's going to be all for Derek Lowe. And the left-hander Hendrickson will come into the game to face the former Dodger Sean Green. This call to the bullpen brought to you by Geico. A 15-minute call to Geico can save you 15% on more on your car insurance. Here at the bottom of the sixth inning, and they lead the Dodgers 4-1 in Game 1 of this National League Division Series. Derek Lowe out after 5 1/3 innings, having given up 6 hits and the 4 runs so far. 2 walks, 1 intentional, 6 strikeouts, and 2 home runs. And now Hendrickson, who was acquired from Tampa Bay back in June in the same trade that sent Jay Sow to the Devil Rays. Hendrickson made 12 starts for the Dodgers, but didn't pitch well. He went 2-7 and was eventually banished to the bullpen, and is only on the roster in the postseason because of the finger injury to Joe Beimel. So here's a huge spot, not only in this game, but in this series, because if Grady Little can't rely on Hendrickson to be a situational lefty, he's got a big hole in his bullpen. Hendrickson brought in to face Sean Green, who is 3 for 6 in his career against Hendrickson. Wright is at third, Floyd at first, and 1 out. The infield at double play depth. Pitch to Green. And a breaking ball strike on the outside corner, 0-1.
I would imagine that Hendrickson is going to live on that breaking pitch to Sean Green. And you know, he was effective in limited times out of the bullpen in 10 2/3 innings, but it's still not a spot that he's overly comfortable with.
6'9" left-hander, former NBA journeyman. The 0-1 to Green. Rifle foul off to the left out of play. And now Hendrickson ahead on Green, 0-2. He came with the fastball that time, and Sean was a little late. Jose Valentin waits on deck. Valentin, of course, much better left-hand hitter than right. And so this is Grady Little's move to get Hendrickson in against Green and perhaps Valentin. 4-1 New York, bottom of the sixth. Runners lead first and third and 1 out. The 0-2 to Green. Swing and a miss. He got him with a slow curve, and Hendrickson strikes out Green on 3 pitches. So there's a huge out for the Dodgers, 2 away. Let's pause for station identification on the WFAN Mets Radio Network.
The Texas Rangers are in the market for a new manager. Buck Showalter was fired today. Steve Summers follows Mets playoff baseball on WFAN New York.
With Howie Rose and Tom McCarthy, I'm Gary Cohen. We're in the bottom of the sixth inning, Game 1 of the National League Division Series. Mets lead the Dodgers 4-1. First and third and 2 down, and Jose Valentin, the batter, against Mark Hendrickson, and he takes the breaking ball for a strike, 0-1. Valentin 0 for 2 today. Hit a hard ground ball his last time up that Garcia Parra gloved. Now Valentin batting from the right side for the first time in the game. He barely hit over 200 as a right-hand batter this year. Wright leads at third. Floyd at first, 2 down. The 0-1. In the dirt with a changeup. And blocked nicely by Russell Martin, sliding to his right. 1 ball and 1 strike. Now Guillermo Mota, for the moment, has come out on deck. But Roberto Hernandez is up in the bullpen. And certainly if Valentin walks in this spot, Willie would have to be tempted to bat for Mota, even with a 3-run lead. Hendrickson from the third base side of the rubber. 1-1 to Valentin. Inside, he hit him, and now the bases are loaded. Valentin got drilled by a Hendrickson fastball, and Mota is coming to bat. Now, this is an interesting call by Willie Randolph. He had Hernandez up at the bullpen, but he's going to go to Mota here to bat with the bases loaded with a chance to put the hammer down.
Well, he must be more content with having Mota pitch in the 7th inning and come back out for his second inning of work than have Roberto Hernandez come out. You know, we look at the bench. The bench is not deep for the Mets, and Willie did say before the ball game that he would have to manage the back end of the game a little differently because the bench is not that deep, and I guess this is one of those spots. I'm surprised, though, that he wouldn't try to go for at least a couple more runs because that'll ease the bullpen even if you have to bring in Roberto Hernandez.
Mota, a former position player, not a give up at the plate, and he drills one in the air to right center, but it's playable. Moving over is Drew, and he makes the catch to end the inning. Mota made some pretty good contact, but not enough, and the Mets settle for 2 runs. There were 3 hits and 3 men left aboard. Tom and Howie will take it the rest of the way. 6 in the books now at Shea. Mets 4, Dodgers 1 on the WFAN Mets Radio Network.
Sports Radio 66 WFAN New York.
We'll
top of the 7th inning, the Mets are on top 4-1. With the bases loaded and 2 men down in the bottom of the 6th inning, Willie Randolph decided to send Guillermo Mota up to hit. And he flied out to right field. This is all part of what Willie talked about before. Right or wrong, he said that he would have to manage the back end of the game differently because he has a short bench, because he has extra pitchers. And I think he was more content with how well Mota pitched in the top of the 6th inning than how he would hit in the bottom of the 6th inning. So here we go, top of the 7th, 4-1 New York. It'll be Marlon Anderson, Wilson Betemit, and then the pitcher's spot for the Dodgers. David Wright plays in on the grass at third. Anderson is 1 for 2 in the pitch. Fastball missed inside. It's 1 ball and no strikes. The 1 for Marlon accounted for the only run for Los Angeles back in the 2nd inning. It was a double inside the third base bag. Mota, in his first inning of work, struck out 2. 1-0, fastball outside and high, 2 balls and no strikes. And the Mets bullpen right now is quiet. Roberto Hernandez is sat down for the moment. Meanwhile, Brad Penny continues to loosen up in the Dodgers bullpen. Marlon Anderson began the year with the Washington Nationals and did such a good job off the bench and then as a spot starter in left field. Grady Little decided that he would be his every game left fielder, at least to start. 2-0 pitch. Fastball right down the chute for a strike. It's 2 balls and 1 strike. And if Mota can get through this 7th inning and set up the 8th and 9th the way Willie Randolph would like it to be set up with Heilman and Billy Wagner, it's such a shot in the arm here in game number 1. We got a ways to go, though, before we get to that 8th inning. Here's the 2-1 pitch to Anderson. He shows bunt, bunts it to the right side. Charging Valentine, picks it up with the bare hand, hops the throw to first, not in time. And Anderson shuffles across the first base bag. A bunt single for Marlon Anderson. His 2nd hit of the day. He saw the opportunity to drag one toward the right side. In reality, put it in the perfect spot.
Well, his agenda was to get it past the pitcher, and once he did that, it would have taken a spectacular play by Valentine to get him, and he almost pulled it off.
So the leadoff runner is on. Here's Wilson Betemit. He's 1 for 1, intentionally walked his first time, and then singled his last time to the plate. 4-1 New York here in the top of the 7th inning. Mota fires over to first, and Anderson gets back standing. Marlon has 4 stolen bases this year. At one point in his career, he was a heavy threat to run. He still has pretty good wheels. Mota to the set. Here's the pitch. Hit on the ground sharply to the right side. To the glove side, Valentine. Off balance, throw to second, not in time. Off the glove of Reyes. It rolls into left field. Anderson scampers to third, and he's there easily. Reyes is very slow to get up at second base. And Jose Valentine does not often make fielding mistakes. But the mistake there was to turn and try to get Anderson at second with a 4-1 lead. Really, with his momentum carrying him to first base, he had an easy play at first.
I think that was a very poor decision on the part of Valentine because, first of all, yes, you're moving towards first base. You have a 3-1 lead. In that situation, you want 1 out. And there was really no need to worry about getting the lead runner there when you had a chance to get Betemit. Now, Betemit does run very well, but it was such a dicey play at second base that I think the only sensible play for Valentine would have been to go to first base. And now you have to worry about Reyes, who still appears to be in some pain, although he is back in his position at shortstop.
And Julio Lugo is going to be sent up as a pinch hitter for the Dodgers. So 4-1 Mets, nobody out, top of the 7th inning. And Lugo will pinch hit for Mark Hendrickson. The Mets will play the infield back. Up the middle, they look to turn 2. It's a fielder's choice and an error charged to Valentine on the play. Mota comes ready. Here's the pitch. Change up, take it for strike 1. It's 0-1. Julio Lugo, who was acquired during the season for the Tampa Bay Devil Rays, was a jack of all trades for the Dodgers. Not only played second base, but also played some third, played the outfield as well. And he will most likely be over third base in tomorrow's game. The runners lead off. Here's the 0-1. Changeup swung on and missed. It's no balls and 2 strikes. Tomorrow the Mets are scheduled to start Tom Glavine. And he'll be opposed by Hong-Chi Kuo. So with the left-hander on the mound, Lugo should get the start at third for Betemit. Right now he's pinch hitting with nobody out here in the top of the 7th inning. And Aaron Heilman is up and throwing in the Mets bullpen. Mota anchors himself down on top of the mound. He gazes in for the signs from LaDuca. The runners lead off first and third. And now the 0-2 pitch from Mota. Hit foul behind home plate. He just got a piece of it. And the count holds 2 strikes. Lugo was acquired on July 31st from the Devil Rays for Joel Guzman, a third base prospect, and Sergio Pedroza. He was hitting over 300 for the Devil Rays and didn't reach those same kind of numbers with the Dodgers, but he's still a very potent hitter. Slightly built infielder. Mota's ready again. The 0-2 pitch in the dirt, blocked by LaDuca. It goes to his right a little bit. And Betterman can't advance. Anderson hangs out at third. So the count, 1 ball and 2 strikes to Julio Lugo. If the Dodgers have an additional advantage against the Mets, and they don't have many advantages, but they do have a deeper bench. It's because of the way Grady Little has set up his bullpen. And he's got one of the best pinch hitters in Olmedo Signs, who is lingering on the bench as well. 1-2 the count to the right-handed hitting Julio Lugo. With the infield back, here's the 1-2 pitch. Swing and a foul ball back behind home plate. Lugo just got a piece of it. And the count holds 1-2. Rafael Furcal is the on-deck batter for the Dodgers. L.A. with 1 run today on 7 base hits. The Mets with 4 runs on 6 hits. The outfield shortens up for Lugo. Good arms all the way around. As the runners lead off first and third, and now Mota steps off as Anderson started to break toward the plate. And now time is called. So Mota once again will get his signs from LaDuca. Betamit, good size lead off first, being held on by Delgado. The 1-2 pitch. Swing and a bouncer foul into the Dodgers dugout. And the count holds 1-2. The Dodgers with the best record in baseball since the end of July. They and the Oakland A's both won 41 games. And it didn't start out like a good second half for Grady Little's squad. They lost 13 of the first 14 games after the All-Star break. Mota tinkering with his glove as he's on top of the hill. He's finally set. The runners lead off first and third. The 1-2 pitch. Change up, called, strike 3, right along the knees, and Lugo could not pull the trigger. And that's a big strikeout. The first out here in the 7th inning. And Lugo walks back to the dugout, and that'll bring Rafael Furcal to the plate. That is the 9th strikeout this afternoon for Mets pitching.
Tom, even though the Dodgers are 3 runs down here, and Furcal's got pop, he can hit it out of the park. He's got 15 home runs. But don't discount the bunt possibility here. The bunt for a base hit, not a suicide squeeze. David Wright is in tight now at third.
Pitch to Furcal, takes a change-up for strike 1. It's 0-1. Well, the Mets have played the middle infielders up a little bit. They're going to try to turn 2, but running from the left side of the plate, Furcal is awfully difficult to double up. But they're still going to try. They'll concede the run to try to get 2. David Wright continues to play right on the edge of the grass. Delgado holds on the runner at first. And a toss over to first base. Betterman gets back, standing. Furcal is 0 for 2. He walked his last time up. He lined out to start the ball game to Reyes and then popped out to Reyes back in the third. It's 4-1 Mets here in the top of the 7th inning. Guillermo Mota, the 4th pitcher used by Willie Randolph. The 0-1 pitch. Fastball line towards center field. Beltran rolls over toward the gap, and it drops in for a base hit. He takes it on a hop. Anderson scampers home from third, and the Dodgers have cut the lead to 2. It's now 4-2, and an RBI single by Rafael Furcal. Well, that ball didn't hang up there long enough for Carlos Beltran to get over and make the grab. So Furcal is aboard for the 2nd time in this game. The Dodgers have runners on first and second. And that is their 8th base hit. And it brings Kenny Lofton to the plate. Lofton has not had a good day. He's 0 for 3 with 3 strikeouts. Again, the Mets look to turn 2, although Wright plays in on the grass at third. The pitch to him. Changeup hit high in the air to short right field. It's way up there for Sean Green. He ranges over toward the line, makes the catch. Tagging from second is Betamit. The throw goes to the cutoff man, Reyes. And Betamit slides in safely at third, but Furcal holds up at first, and the second out is recorded. And with 2 men down, it brings the dangerous Nomar Garciaparra to the plate.
Dangerous in particular because we all know what an accomplished hitter Nomar is, and he did struggle quite a bit since the All-Star break, but he had some dramatic home runs for the Dodgers down the stretch. He is probably the one guy they want up right now, representing the go-ahead run at home plate.
Including that big grand slam the Sunday before the end of the season, before the final week of the season, which gave the Dodgers a game-ending victory. So runners on first and third, 2 men down, 4-2 Mets. As Mota fidgets on top of the mound, he gets his signs from LaDuca. He comes ready, looks over at third. Now tosses to first base, and Percal, who's got very good speed, is a threat to run over at first base. Don't forget, LaDuca has thrown out just 24% of the runners trying to steal. He's gotten better lately, but still not as consistent as you would like. Betemit leads off third in foul territory. Percal a short lead, and Mota steps off, and it seemed like Percal was reading all the way that Mota was not going to throw to the plate. Garciaparra on the year, 93 RBIs. He's one of those prime candidates for comeback player of the year. He dances in the batter's box, gets himself set. There goes Percal. The pitch, changeup taken off the outside corner. No throw by LaDuca. And Percal is in scoring position. The count, 1 ball and no strikes to Nomar Garciaparra. Percal, who stole 37 bases during the regular season, has something a lot of his teammates don't have, and that's experience, deep experience in the postseason. This is his 7th postseason appearance, his 7th straight postseason appearance.
Beltran just took a step in and center to give himself a better chance on a play at the plate.
1-0 pitch, change up, taken for a strike along the knees. 1 ball and 1 strike.
Remember, Percal carries the tying run, and he has outstanding speed. So the Met outfielders have to shorten up about a step to give themselves a chance, even with Garciaparra's power and ability to hit one over their heads.
They leave a good-sized gap in left center field. The runners lead off second and third. The 1-1 pitch. Change up, fouled off the glove of LaDuca. And back to the backstop, so it's 1 ball and 2 strikes to Garciaparra. 4-2, Mets on top. A sold-out crowd to their feet and trying to shove Guillermo Mota through the 7th inning. He very casually walks behind the mound, rubs up the baseball. Now a touch of the rosin, and he's back on top of the hill. Nomar takes a few practice swings, gets himself set, taps the toes of both feet in the batter's box. He's ready too. The runners lead off. The 1-2 pitch. Swing and a line drive past the diving David Wright down the left field line. 2 runs are going to score. Garciaparra rounds first, heads to second. A 2-run double, and the Dodgers have tied the game up at 4 apiece. And Nomar Garciaparra, who has been banged up for most of the second half, has been battling injuries over the last week or so, comes through with a clutch base hit there for Los Angeles.
And that decision by Jose Valentin not to take it out at first base, maybe not 100% guaranteed out against Betemit, but a much better chance of getting the out there than there was at second base, really turns out to be costly.
So now the go-ahead run is in scoring position with 2 men down, and Jeff Kent, who has 2 base hits this afternoon, will dig in for the Dodgers. So 4-4 here in the top of the 7th inning. Now this crowd has quieted itself here at Shea Stadium for the moment. Heilman looks like he's ready in the bullpen if Willie Randolph decides to go to him. So Lowe is off the hook. Here's the first pitch to Kent. Hit foul behind home plate just above our heads and into the mezzanine. And the count is 0-1. I don't think you would have made that play.
Probably not, but that goes for about any ball hit to me. From any angle. At any speed.
Yeah, that one wasn't hit that sharply. 0-1 the count now to Kent. Wright is way back behind the bag at third. The same with Delgado at first. Garciaparra leads off second, the 0-1 pitch. Chopped foul toward the Dodgers dugout on the third base side, so it's 0-2. So the Dodgers have scored 3 runs here in the 7th inning. Guillermo Mota, who had been lights out for the Mets since being acquired from the Indians, He's trying to quiet this Dodger offense and allow no more damage here in the top of the 7th inning.
The runs are unearned.
Thanks to the error by Jose Valentin on a poor decision. Here's the 0-2 pitch to Kent. Swing and a miss. He got him. Jeff Kent went after one down to the strike zone, and Guillermo Mota retires him for the final out here in the 7th inning. But the Dodgers get 3 unearned runs in the inning. After 6.5, the score is the Mets 4, the Dodgers 4. The 7th inning stretch is brought to you by New York City OTB. We bring the race to you. This copyrighted broadcast is presented by authority of Sterling Mets and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of Sterling Mets. Home half of the 7th inning here at Shea, game tied at 4, and Brad Penny is the new pitcher for the Los Angeles Dodgers. Well, we weren't sure how much we would see Brad Penny in this game, although Grady Little did say that he hoped he would be healthy enough to pitch game 4. And he has been bothered by lower back stiffness. And I think this is more of a test than anything else by Grady Little to see how healthy Brad Penny is. And if he is healthy, then he could use him later on in the series as the starting pitcher.
Remember, the Mets have generally hit Brad Penny very, very well. I just want to correct myself because the official score has ruled that all of the runs against Mota are earned rather than unearned, as I had opined, because of the fielder's choice that he threw in along with the error to Valentin. Now, certainly from this vantage point, it appeared that Valentin would have had the play at first base on Betemit, and that should have clearly been an out. But because of the fielder's choice and the throw to second, they say because you cannot assume the out, charge the runs as earned to the account of Guillermo Mota. Just bookkeeping. Doesn't change the fact the Dodgers have tied the game, but now the Mets will have the top of the order up to face Penny here in the 7th.
And the top of the order is Jose Reyes. Reyes today is 0 for 3. He has popped out twice. He's also gone down on strikes. So Reyes will start things off here in the home 7th. Game tied at 4 in the first pitch. Fastball, take it for a strike. And the count is no balls and 1 strike. Well, Brad Penny this year was 16-9 with a 4.33 ERA. The big right-hander is sent. Here's the 0-1 pitch to Reyes. Take it down low. It's 1 ball and 1 strike. Lifetime against the Mets, he's 3-10 with a 6.16 ERA. In his only game this year against New York here at Shea, he allowed 7 earned runs in 5 2/3. 1-1 pitch outside. It's 2-1. And this is a tough spot to see if a guy is healthy enough to pitch, but that seems to be what Grady Little is trying to find out. He also feels that Penny could give him 1 full inning out of the bullpen here today. The 2-1 pitch to Reyes. Swing and a line drive just foul down the left field line. Sliced past the third base bag and toward the tarp. So the count is even now, 2-2. I think Jose might be a little anxious today at the plate. Not only swinging early in the count in his first couple of at-bats, but also swinging at a pitch that was way outside to finish off his last at-bat. Here's the 2-2 pitch from Brad Penny. Fastball down low, 3-2. The Dodgers with 9 hits, the Mets with 6 hits. Reyes will be followed by LaDuca and Carlos Beltran here in the bottom of the 7th inning. Dodgers defense remains the same along the infield with Betemit at third. The 3-2 pitch to Jose Reyes. Taken down low, ball 4. And Reyes has drawn a leadoff walk here in the bottom of the 7th inning. So now the game within the game between Reyes and Russell Martin begins. It'll be interesting to see how Paul LaDuca approaches this at-bat. Do they play it conservatively and have LaDuca try to bunt Reyes up to second base? Or do you give Reyes an opportunity to try to swipe second? Martin this year has thrown out 26% of the runners trying to steal. He's a pretty good receiver. But Penny also takes a long time to get to the plate. Betemit is in on the grass at third base. Penny steps off as he came set. LaDuca is 1 for 3. He bounced a single through the hole his last time up at shortstop. He has gone down looking on strikes, and he's bounced out to third. Reyes sizes up his lead off first. The first pitch hit in the air toward right center field. Pretty well hit. Lofted goes back. He's under it, and he makes the catch a step from the warning track. And there's 1 man down.
It's such a different philosophy employed by LaDuca during the second half of the season as opposed to the first. He has become a much more aggressive hitter early in the count. Generally speaking, up until around the All-Star break, when that thumb really started to bother him, he would take a pitch or two, give Reyes a chance to run. And LaDuca's comfortable hitting behind in the count, even with 2 strikes.
So now Carlos Beltran, who is 0 for 2 with a walk, will be the batter. Reyes leads off first, and now Penny steps off before his first toss. Beltran is 2 for 6 lifetime against Brad Penny. It's a 4-4 game here in the bottom of the 7th inning. Penny ready. Here's the pitch. Fastball taken down and away. It's 1-0. Now the Dodgers have a couple of pretty good relievers still left, including Jonathan Broxton, who is normally the 8th inning guy for L.A., and Takashi Saito, their closer. The 1-0 pitch to Beltran. Chopped foul toward the on-deck circle on the first base side, so it's 1-1.
They are both strikeout pitchers, but Broxton throws especially hard. He is high 90s.
In fact, he's the guy that they anticipated would eventually take over for Eric Gagne as the team's closer.
And that's the important point about this Dodger bullpen. They have more than made do in the absence of one of the best closers in the last dozen years.
1-1 the count to Beltran. Reyes leads off first. The pitch. Fastball taken for a strike on the outside corner. It's 1-2. And Penny can bring the fastball. That one, the board says, came in at 99 miles an hour. He just doesn't really look comfortable, though, on the mound. It looks like he's trying to keep himself loose. Again, they anticipated that he would have been the game 1 or 2 starter, if not for the back injury, which sidelined him last week. Reyes leads off first. The 1-2 pitch. Taken outside. 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Shea Stadium has never been a ballpark where Penny has looked particularly comfortable. That's to try to remind him of those past miseries. I don't think he needs any product.
Just looking at the way he pitched earlier this year against the Mets here at Shea. There goes Reyes. 2-2 pitch taken outside. The throw to second by Martin is high, and he's in sliding. A head-first slide for Jose Reyes. Right between the legs of Rafael Furcal. And he's in scoring position. And the count is 3-2 to Carlos Beltran.
Well, you know, Beltran has been a 2-hitter during his career with the Kansas City Royals, so he has learned to hit with 2 strikes. He has learned to take a pitch when necessary. And that pitch up and a little bit out of the strike zone, off the plate away. And Beltran was patient, let it go, and now Reyes in scoring position.
Furcal shades toward the middle a little bit at shortstop. Big hole at his position right now. Penny's ready. The payoff pitch. Outside, ball 4. 2 walks in the inning issued by Brad Penny. Carlos Delgado waits for a moment toward the on-deck circle as Russell Martin goes out to the mound for a quick conversation with Brad Penny. Delgado's had himself a heck of a day. Grady Little heads out to the mound. There's nobody loosening up in the bullpen for the Dodgers. There's a lot of times that Grady Little and not Rick Honeycutt, the pitching coach for the Dodgers, goes out to the mound and chat with his relievers.
I want you.
And this is basically a conversation to settle down Brad Penny. Let's pause 10 seconds and allow our stations to identify themselves on the WFAN Mets Radio Network.
A's beat the Twins today 5-2. Oakland takes a commanding 2-0 series lead. Steve Summers follows Mets playoff baseball on WFAN New York.
Along with Howie Rose and Gary Cohen, I'm Tom McCarthy, live from Shea Stadium. Runners on first and second, 1 man down, bottom of the 7th inning. Game tied at 4. And Carlos Delgado will face Brad Penny. He is a lifetime .385 hitter against Penny, 5 for 13 with a home run. And he has had a heck of a day. He's 3 for 3 with 2 runs scored. Included in those 3 hits, a towering home run to center field. And he'll bat with runners on first and second. The crowd, all 55,000 plus on their feet from top to bottom here at Shea. The runners lead off. The pitch to Delgado. Fastball taken down and away, 1-0. So Delgado took the last couple of days off of the regular season because he was battling nagging soreness to his elbow, to his knee, and he's come out strong in today's ball game. Again, the runners lead off. Penny ready, looks back at second, the 1-0. Fastball down low, ball 2. Penny has not gotten into a count where he can throw his curveball, and he has a decent curve. And Jonathan Broxton is up and loosening now in the pen for the Dodgers. 2-0 the count to Delgado. Here's the pitch. Check swing on a pitch that's taken for a strike, and it's 2-1. And Penny seems like he took a little off that pitch, but it was 97 miles an hour. So 2-1 the count to Carlos. Beltran not being held on. Garcia Parr's behind him at first. Penny now turns and faces up against Reyes to chase him back to the second base bag.
Interestingly, Tom, the Mets bullpen is quiet right now. Guillermo Mota has thrown the last 2 innings, and Willie Randolph may be looking at him to start the 8th, too.
Penny ready again, the 2-1. Up high, ball 3-1. Well, Heilman was up and loosening, and you wonder if Heilman might wait for another out before he soft tosses again.
And the only problem is one pitch can end this inning now.
Very true.
You know, there's a double play in order on the ground. So I get the feeling Mota's going out there to start the 8th.
The outfield is straight away from left to right. The runners lead off first and second. Penny ready, the 3-1 pitch. Swing and a line drive past the diving for a call into left center field. Reyes rounds third, heads to the plate. He's going to score. Over to third is Beltran. And Carlos Delgado is 4 for 4. He has given the Mets a 5-4 lead here in the bottom of the 7th inning.
Boy, is Carlos Delgado pumped. You know, here's a guy that sat out the last couple of games of the year because of what he termed general soreness. He got a fastball away, went with it perfectly, drilled it up the alley in left center, and then as he rounded first again, gave that big fist pump and screamed. And this is a lot more animated a Carlos Delgado than we've seen all year.
The runners on first and third for Wright. Penny ready, the pitch. Fastball fisted over the head of Penn into right field, a base hit. Beltran scores. Delgado turns second, heads to third. Wright is hustling towards second. He's in with a belly flop. An RBI double. And the Mets are on top 6-4.
Tom, this inning could have ramifications that go well beyond the inning as well as this game. Because who knows whether Grady Little at this point is going to have second thoughts about starting Brad Penny later in this series because the back problems he's had compounded by the runs the Mets have scored against him in this inning.
Well, he's thrown nothing but fastballs in this inning right now. The infield play did. Runners on second and third. 6-4 New York. The pitch to Cliff Floyd. Fastball taken for a strike along the black on the outer edge. And the count is 0-1. The Mets now with 6 runs on 8 base hits. David Wright takes his walking lead off second. Delgado off the third base bag. And now the 0-1 pitch to Cliff Floyd. Fastball swung on and missed. Cliff a little anxious on that offering. And the count is 0-2. Cliff in the game is 1 for 2. He was intentionally walked his last time up. And he blasted a home run toward right center field back in the 4th inning. Again, the infield plays in. Furcal is playing nearly right behind Brad Penny. Here's the 0-2 pitch to Floyd. On the outside corner, called strike 3. A fastball along the knees. John Hirschback punches out Cliff Floyd. And there's the second out here in the 7th inning. Well, Cliff had a few words for Hirschback before he went back to the dugout. Well, that was too good of a pitch to take with 2 strikes. So now it's left to Sean Green. The Mets lead it 6-4. They've scored twice here in the 7th inning. And Green is a .429 lifetime hitter against Brad Penny. The pitch to him. Fastball taken up high. It just missed. It's 1-0. It's amazing to see Brad Penny. He's coming out and throwing one fastball after another. I mean, he's got to mix up his pitches eventually. Delgado leads off third. Wright leads off second base. The 1-0 pitch. Hit on the ground sharply toward first. Big hop for Garcia Parr. He runs it to the bag himself, and the inning is over. But the Mets scored 2 runs in the inning. On 2 base hits, they strand 2. We head to the 8th. It's 6-4 New York on the WFAN Mets Radio Network.
Sports Radio 66 WFAN New York.
Stander. Well, we head to the top of the 8th inning. The Mets are back on top 6-4. And Howie, not only do we have a new pitcher in the game, but also a new left fielder.
Yeah, double switch made by Willie Randolph, and we're going to see a lot of this for however long the Mets play during the postseason. Andy Chavez replaces Floyd in left field, and it turns out Aaron Heilman is coming into the game. Now, he did not throw at all with the Mets batting in the bottom half of the seventh inning. J.D. Drew first up, and the first pitch popped in the air, foul outside third. Wright hoping for a play, but he's going to run out of room. That's good. Penrose back behind the tarp down the left field line, and the count 0-1. So, yeah, Heilman warmed up in the top of the inning. But when the Mets batted in the bottom half, and they were batting for a while as they scored 2 runs to take the lead, Heilman did not throw. He got into 74 games during the regular season, most on the staff. He went 4-5. His earned run average, 3.62. The 0-1 change up, swung on and missed. 0-2. And this is where Willie Randolph likes him, not only in the 8th inning, but he has proven very trustworthy against tough left-hand batters. He's ahead of Drew, 0-2. Now Heilman delivers. And a fastball outside, ball 1. Now, for what it's worth, Mota's numbers in his brief tenure with the Mets were even better against left-handers than Heilman's. But Heilman still held the lefties to just 231 over the course of the year. A 1-2 pitch, change up low. 2 balls and 2 strikes.
The other thing, too, Howie, since he was put into the 8th inning role, when Willie Randolph challenged him, his ERA is 2.27. What does that tell you? Well, it tells you that he's been awfully effective filling in for Juaner Sanchez.
And the Mets were able to change their bullpen around after that accident. Things worked out all right. Now the 2-2 pitch on the way. Change up, foul back into the seats just behind home plate. To the left of the tarp. Thankfully, everyone's all right. And the Mets have Billy Wagner loosening up already. So Willie Randolph wants Heilman to get it to Wagner, now or later. The 2-2 pitch. Fastball popped up. Shallow left field. Reyes out. Chavez in. It's Endy's ball, and he's got it. 1 man away. So Drew retired. 1 out, nobody on. Russell Martin coming up. Martin ripped one off the right field wall in the first inning. That produced one of the more memorable defensive plays of the year for the Mets. Kent was at second. Drew was at first. Kent got a late start because he went back to tag. First pitch to Martin. Broken back grounder foul, and David Wright has to skip away from the top half of that bat and just did manage to avoid it. And I mean, Martin literally had that bat sawed out of his hand. He's got the handle and much more, while David Wright had to be very, very careful. Luckily for him, the ball was not close enough to him so that he had to worry about making a play. And it looked like he still got clipped in the back of the right heel with that bat.
Oh, we joke about the times that bats have flown out toward infielders and toward pitchers. And, you know, a lot of times we say that he has to avoid the bat, and the bat's really 3 or 4 feet away from him. That time, the bat had as much velocity on it as the ball did as it went down the third base side.
So 0-1 to Martin. Now Heilman delivers in the dirt, backhanded by LaDuca, 1-1. So on that ball, hit off the wall by Martin in the second inning. Kent was thrown out at the plate. Green to Valentin to LaDuca, and Drew was right on Kent's heels, and he was tagged out as well. 1-1 pitch, change up on the inside corner, strike 2. So 1-2 on Russell Martin. And many in this sellout crowd come to their feet. Heilman from the first base side of the rubber has the sign. LaDuca sets up away. 1-2 pitch, fastball, he just got a piece, fouling it back to the screen. And Heilman might have gotten too much of the plate with that ball, even though the fastball got up to 95 miles an hour. I think LaDuca wanted that a little farther off the plate than it was. So still 1 ball and 2 strikes. Marlon Anderson, who's been a pain in the neck, is on deck. Now Heilman ready. So 1-2 pitch, swing, a check swing, and a liner foul off the camera box next to the Mets dugout on the first base side. Still 1-2. So Heilman steps back behind the mound to rub up a fresh ball. The Mets 6, the Dodgers 4. The Mets, though, have left 5 men on in the last 2 innings. The Dodgers scored 3 in the top of the 7th. The Mets came back with 2 to take the lead. The 1-2 pitch, Change-up chopped towards third. It'll be a foul ball, fielded near the coach's box by David Wright. So still 1-2 to the Dodgers rookie catcher, who had an excellent season.
Yeah, Gary was saying before that any other year, Russell Martin would be the walk-away Rookie of the Year winner, but there's just so many rookies that put up such good numbers this year.
Many of them with the Marlins. Here's the 1-2 pitch. Change up, he just got a piece. Dribbles it foul. Cut off in the on-deck circle by Marlon Anderson, who flips it to a fan. And there are a few extra seats on the playing field, as special boxes have been set up with about 4 rows of seats near each of the on-deck circles, which just takes a little bit more foul territory away. 1-2 pitch hit hard towards second, scooped up by Valentin, throws to first in time, 2 men away. And Martin made solid contact with a fastball, but now 2 out, nobody on, and Marlon Anderson coming up. Marlon was such a valuable pinch hitter for the Mets last year, but he's had an excellent day today with a double just past the third base bag, which drove in a run in the second inning. And then he started the 3-run seventh with a bunt single, pushing a bunt past Mota. Anderson, over the last couple of years, a superb pinch hitter. First pitch, and it's driven foul in the air down the left field line, slicing into the corner and out of play. 0-1.
You know, the impressive thing about Anderson, I think, Howie, is that over the years, as he's become a better pinch hitter, he's also become a pretty versatile fielder as well. He's a second baseman by trade, but he's actually played a decent outfield. He's played some third base and even played some first base.
Switch hitting, Wilson. Betemeet waits on deck. 0-1 to the left-hand hitting Anderson. Right in on the grass at third. The 0-1, big cut and a foul to the screen. So it's 0-2. And now just about everybody at Shea will come to their feet. The Mets 6, the Dodgers 4. 2 out, nobody on, top of the 9th inning. Billy Wagner is ready if needed in the pen. 0-2 to Anderson. Now Heilman ready, the 0-2 pitch. Changeup hit weakly up the first base side. It hugs the line, stays fair. Delgado's got it, tags Anderson in fair ground to retire the side. Anderson was going hard, so the tag sent him reeling backwards, but he stayed on his feet, and the inning's over. Nothing across, middle of the 8th at Shea. It's the Mets 6 and the Dodgers 4 on the WFAN Mets Radio Network. 6, Dodgers 4. Right-hander Jonathan Broxton, a hard thrower, in from the bullpen, faces Jose Valentin leading off. First pitch to Jose, and a fastball fouled into the seats behind third. 0-1. Valentin struck out, grounded the first, and was hit by a pitch. So Brad Penny worked 1 inning, gave up 2 runs, 2 hits, walked 2, and struck out 1. Broxton was 4-1 with a 2.59 earned run average in 68 appearances, and in 76 1/3 innings, he had 97 strikeouts. Now the 0-1 to Valentin. A fastball bunted in the air near home plate. Martin has a play, and in foul ground, he makes the catch, 1 man out. Just a 93-mile-an-hour fastball, which for Broxton is almost a changeup. So 1 out, and now Endy Chavez will be the hitter for the first time. And Endy's a guy who's going to play a lot in this series and any ensuing series the Mets might play in. Not only as a defensive replacement for Cliff Floyd, but there may well be a game that he starts either in place of Floyd or Shawn Green, because he has been that valuable to this ball club all year. Left-hand batter, and Broxton's first pitch. Swing and a miss at a fastball, 0-1.
Now, I think there's a chance he even starts tomorrow's game against Hong-Chi Kuo, because he has been better against lefties than Cliff Floyd has been.
Chavez hit .306 during the season with 4 homers, 42 RBIs. Now the 0-1. Swing and a miss at another heater, 0-2. Broxton fired that one up at 97 miles an hour. Endy Chavez actually hit a little more against left-handers than he did against right-handers, although Broxton here is right-handed. Here's the 0-2 pitch, and it's hit weakly on the ground to short, one-handed by Furcal. Fires low to first, and it's dug out by Garcia Parra. Excellent play by Nomar Garcia Parra. on a low throw by Percal. So 2 out, nobody on, and Reyes will bat.
Well, he was a Gold Glove shortstop when he was with the Boston Red Sox, and he has actually played Gold Glove caliber first base as well. He's only committed 4 errors this year. Fielding percentage is .996. I mean, it's not the easiest position to play, and he's also done a good job on those kind of plays.
So now Reyes, 0 for 3 with a walk, a stolen base, and a run scored. The first pitch, and a breaking ball in for a strike, 0-1. Now the Dodger ninth, they'll be scheduled to send up Wilson Betemit, a pinch hitter for Broxton, and Rafael Percal. Reyes batting left-handed, knees bent. Broxton to the high set with nobody on. 0-1, fastball high, 1 ball, 1 strike. Paulo Duca waits on deck. Billy Wagner ready in the bullpen, continuing to throw as the Mets bat here in the bottom of the 8th inning. Aaron Heilman worked the top of the inning and got the Dodgers in order. Now the 1-1 pitch. And it's ripped off the glove of Cannon into right field. Reyes turns and hauls, and that ball was hit hard, but we just figured Jeff Kent's going to catch that. We'll see how they score it. I certainly understand an error on Kent if the official score so desires, as hard as that ball was hit. We'll see which way he goes, but either way, Reyes may be looking to run here and try to get down to second with another run.
You know, he had to hop a little bit to his glove side, but that's the key, to his glove side. The ball was hit sharply, but you know, if he had it backhanded, I would be more inclined to give Reyes a base hit, but you know, that's to the glove side, so I think that should be an error on Jeff Kent.
And that is the scoring. Error on Kent. Reyes at first, 2 out. Here's Loduca. And the first pitch, they pitch out, nothing doing. So the ball low and outside. The count 1-0 to Loduca. First error of the game made by the Dodgers. Mets have 6 runs, 8 hits, 1 error. The Dodgers, 4 runs, 9 hits, 1 error. Beltran on deck. Loduca 1 for 4. Singleton scored in the 6th inning. Broxton ready. Reyes not going. They pitch out again. 2-0. Well, you certainly doubt they'll pitch out here. And Grady Little is so sure that Reyes is running. What he's done is gotten Loduca into a hitter's count, put his pitcher in a 2-0 hole, with the Mets already leading by 2 and Beltran on deck.
I may not even run Reyes here. I may give Loduca a chance just to fire the ball with the count 2-0. He's going to get a good pitch to hit.
So let's see. Reyes stretches the lead out. Broxton set, not running, 2-0, and a breaking ball low, 3-0. So he did not come in with what you would have expected to have been a fastball. The count 3 balls, no strikes on Loduca, with Carlos Beltran waiting in the on-deck circle. Center fielder Kenny Lofton a couple of steps the other way. Will Loduca swing 3-0? Reyes not running, and he takes all the way. A fastball down the middle, strike 1. Well, Loduca looking down at third base coach Manny Acta, probably just to see if Manny might have a mandatory steal on for Reyes. There are must steals as opposed to the runner's discretion. Reyes stretches it out. He's running. The 3-1 pitch lined into right field, base hit. Drew was deep. He hustles towards the line. Reyes hits third. He'll be held there as the throw comes into Garcia Parra. Loduca with a single the other way. And the Mets have runners at the corners with 2 out for Beltran.
Well, it's such a good spot to start the runner with the count 3 balls and 1 strike for a couple of reasons. If you have a guy that hits the baseball well, like Paul Loduca does, deep in counts with 2 strikes, early in counts, and Loduca handles the bat well, you start Reyes because you figure Loduca's going to get a good pitch to hit, and it could be somewhat like a hit and run. But if he misses the ball, if Reyes gets a good jump, then he can swipe second, and Loduca then has the count 3-2. And again, if he's a good 2-strike hitter, it doesn't hurt him at all. And that way, it benefited the Mets when they put the bat in motion.
So here's Beltran. Broxton ready, the first pitch. Fastball, he holds the swing. 1-0. Probably the last guy the Dodgers want to see is in the on-deck circle, clapping his hands. Carlos Delgado, who is 4 for 4. Runners lead from the corners. Reyes at third, Loduca at first. The 1-0 to Beltran. Ripped down the right field line, hooking foul, and into the seats, 1-1. Delgado continues to clap his hands, trying to help Beltran along. Remember now, the Mets have left 5 men on in the last 2 innings. They left the bases loaded when Willie Randolph let Mota hit with 2 out of the 6. Mota flied out. And then Floyd and Green made the last 2 outs in the 7th with 2 men on base. Now Broxton to the high set, the 1-1. And it's ripped foul again. This time off the facing of the photo box on the first base side. That time Carlos got out in front of a slider, and the count 1-2. Billy Wagner more than ready in the bullpen. He started throwing in the top half of the 8th inning.
His adrenaline started pumping at about 10:30 this morning.
I don't doubt it. Beltran, knees bent in the batter's box from the left side, ready. The outfield deep and around towards right. Broxton ready, the 1-2 pitch. He holds his swing at a high fastball. 2 balls and 2 strikes on Beltran. Carlos tied for 5th in the league in home runs, tied for 7th in the league in runs batted in. Trying to give the Mets a little more space as they lead 6-4 with 2 out of the 8th. Broxton comes set at the letter. Runners lead from the corners. The 2-2 pitch. Swing and a fly ball foul down the left field line. Well, Beltran hanging in against 97 miles per hour worth of gas. Jonathan Broxton in his first inning. The 4th pitcher used by Grady Little. Broxton just 22 years old out of Augusta, Georgia. Got into 14 games last year. And pitched in 68 during the regular season this year. Now the runners lead. Broxton ready. The 2-2 pitch. Fastball, high ball 3. Well, that'll give Loduca an automatic start from first on 3-2 with 2 out. Reyes will be running with a crack of the bat from third. The outfield is very deep and around towards right. And again, most of this sellout crowd comes to their feet here at Shea. 6-4 New York. We're in the 8th with 2 outs. Broxton ready. Loduca runs the payoff pitch, swung on and ripped foul. Carlos got out in front again and hit it into the seats. Broxton went with a slider 3-2, and when he has thrown the slider here, he has gotten Beltran out in front. Delgado pacing nervously in front of the on-deck circle. Beltran ready in the batter's box. Again, Loduca will be off and running. Broxton sets the payoff pitch. Breaking ball inside, ball 4, and the bases are loaded. So again, he went to the slider on 3-2, and they're loaded for Delgado. First walk given up by Broxton, who really should have been out of this inning 1-2-3. Remember, the 2-out error by Jeff Kent on the liner by Reyes will mean that anything the Mets might get here in the 8th would be unearned. Rick Honeycutt, the pitching coach, is coming out to try to settle Broxton down. Now, what's important here is that the Dodgers only have 1 left-hander in their bullpen, and they've used them already. That's Mark Hendrickson. Brett Tomko has been very effective in relief for the Dodgers since they converted him. Took him out of the starting rotation. He's in the bullpen now. And we're going to pause for station identification on the WFAN Mets Radio Network.
Oakland beat Minnesota today 5-2. A's lead the series 2-0. Yankees and Tigers tonight. Steve Summers follows Mets playoff baseball on WFAN New York.
Howie Rose, Tom McCarthy with you at Shea. Mets 6, Dodgers 4. The Mets have the bases loaded with 2 outs in the last of the 8th inning. And they need to cash in a little something here after leaving 5 men on in the last 2 innings. But Delgado's the man they want up there. He's 4 for 4, a homer, 3 singles, 2 runs batted in. Reyes is at third, Loduca at second, Beltran at first. The infield at conventional alignment against the left-hand hitting Delgado. The outfield deep. The first pitch taken low. 1 ball and no strikes. David Wright, a right-hand batter, is on deck. Broxton went with a tight slider that missed downstairs to start Delgado. Delgado hit a curveball over the center field fence for a home run back in the 4th inning. Broxton to the set position. The 1-0 pitch. And a changeup in for a strike. It's 1-1.
Well, I know that Delgado is hanging in for that fastball, and Broxton's realizing that, so he comes in with 2 off-speed pitches. First the breaking ball, then the changeup. I'm surprised, though, that he's thrown as many of those pitches during this inning.
The Mets hit 321 with the bases loaded this year, but only 177 with 2 out. And there are 2 out here. 1-1 pitch way outside. A fastball, 2-1. Delgado was 4 for 8 with the bases loaded and hit one of the 10 grand slams the Mets hit this year. And the bases loaded here with 2 out. 2-1 to Delgado, 6-4 New York in the 8th. Broxton ready. The 2-1 pitch on the outside corner, strike 2. And again, he does not throw a fastball. Instead, he slips a slider over the outside edge. He backdoored him. And the count even 2-2. Runners lead from all 3 bases. The flags are still. It is still warm and humid. Broxton ready. The 2-2 pitch. Fastball swung on and missed. So Delgado strikes out, and the Mets leave the bases loaded in the 8th. No runs, 1 hit, 1 error, and 3 men left. The Mets left 8 on over the last 3 innings. At the end of 8, it's the Mets 6, the Dodgers 4 on the WFAN Mets Radio Network.
Sports Radio 66 WFAN New York.
We head to the 9th inning here at Shea. In the opener of the division series, the Mets lead the Dodgers 6-4. And they have the ball in Billy Wagner's hands. Wilson Betemit, a switch hitter, will lead off batting right-handed. He's 1 for 2 with an intentional walk. The first pitch, fastball in for a called strike, 0-1. Wagner is looking for his first ever postseason save. He's been in 5 games in prior division series. Here's the 0-1 to Betemit. And a slider hit foul on 1 hop off the facing of the third base dugout, 0-2. The UPS store would like you to remember these 6 words. Don't you worry about a thing. Olmedo Signs is on deck to pinch hit for Broxton. And then Rafael Furcal here in the 9th inning. The Mets 6, the Dodgers 4. Wagner ready. The 0-2 pitch. Fastball just missed outside. And I mean just missed. And the count 1-2. A 97-mile-an-hour fastball. Billy raring to go. Right back up on the rubber. LaDuca sets up inside. And the 1-2 pitch swung on and fouled back to the screen. So Betemit hanging in. He is 1 for 4 in his career against Wagner. The out-of-town scoreboard is brought to you by the New York Lottery. Play New York Lotto or Mega Millions today. You could win millions. Say you never know. A's beat the Twins 5-2 to go up 2-0 in the American League Division Series. Tigers and Yankees starting in about an hour. The 1-2 to Betemit. Swing and a fly ball well hit to right field, slicing away from Green on the run at the warning track. Can't get it. It hits the base of the wall. Betemit on his way to second, and he's in standing with a lead-off double. He got around on a fastball and yanked it the other way, and it kept tailing away from Sean Green and finally went to the base of the wall. So the Dodgers will bring the tying run to the plate. And it'll be one of the better pinch hitters in baseball, Olmedo Signs. Signs bats for Broxton. And the first pitch on the way. Rivet in the air, right center field, playable for Beltran in the gap. He's under it, makes the catch. Tagging is Betemit. He's on his way to third. The throw by Beltran hits him. It hit Betemit in the back, or else they might have had him. Well, his run doesn't mean a whole heck of a lot. Obviously, that's the way you're taught to play. You tag up with nobody out on a fly ball hit deep to the outfield. But Carlos Beltran made a heck of a throw, and if that didn't flip him in the back, they might have had him.
And Howie, the other thing, too, is that Beltran, when he settled under that ball, he wasn't in the perfect position to throw either. He caught the ball on the glove side and then spun to his right and was able to then set himself and fire to third. That was a heck of a throw, and Betemit, he's feeling it right now as he's walking off the third base bag.
So now Rafael Furcal, another switch hitter batting right. Burkal is 1 for 3 with a walk. First pitch, high. 1 ball and no strikes. Dahl, the former Atlanta Brave, 0 for 6 against Billy Wagner. Billy ready, the 1-0, and a slider in for a called strike, 1-1. Pro Baseball's 135 years old. The New York Board of Trade's 136. Log on to nybot.com, and you'll know the score. 1-1 to Burkal. Wagner delivers. Slider swung on and missed. 1-2. And so often when Billy gets a swing and a miss with a slider, he comes right back with it. Kenny Lofton, a left-hand batter, is due up next. The 1-2 pitch, fastball away. 2 balls and 2 strikes. But the Dodgers have Ramon Martinez in the on-deck circle. Martinez, a right-hand hitter. And then Garcia Parra. 6-4 New York in the ninth. 1 out. Benameat leading from third. The outfield is stepped the other way. At least Beltran is in center. The 2-2 pitch. Swing and a miss and a slider. He struck him out. And now there are 2 men away. And it will be Ramon Martinez to bat for Kenny Lofton. Martinez had 176 at-bats and hit 278 with 2 home runs and 24 runs batted in. 3 for 15 as a pinch hitter. 1 for 2 in his career against Wagner. 6-4 New York, 2 out of the ninth. Wagner ready. The first pitch. Inside, a fastball, 1-0. Nomar Garcia Parra in the on-deck circle. Martinez was a non-roster invitee to the Dodgers. Played with the Tigers and Phillies last year. The 1-0. Just inside, 2 balls and no strikes.
He's a big piece of why the Tigers were able to get to the wild card, to get to the postseason this year. He was acquired by the Phillies with Uki Urbina for Placido Polanco last year.
Polanco missed some time with a shoulder separation, but he's back. And now Wagner ready. The 2-0 pitch. Hit in the air, right center field, moving over his green. He won't get it. It rolls to the wall. In to score is Benameat. On his way to second, and standing with a double is Martinez. The Dodgers now trail by a run. The Met lead is cut to 6-5, and Nomar Garcia Parra is coming up. Jason Repko goes to first base to run for Martinez. And the Dodgers now have the man at the plate that they want. It was Garcia Parra who doubled in 2 runs in the 7th to tie the game against Guillermo Mota. Nomar 1 for 4, a right-hand batter. He's just 0 for 1 against Billy Wagner. So Repko, the runner at second with 2 out. Billy's first pitch. Slider on the inside corner, strike 1. Garcia Parra always goes through gyrations between pitches, working on his batting gloves, rubbing the bat, touching the bill of his helmet. Wagner ready to go from the stretch, the 0-1. Fastball in there for a called strike 2. And now everybody on their feet. That last fastball, 98 miles an hour. Repko leading from second with 2 out. 6-5 New York in the ninth. The 0-2 pitch, foul back to the screen. Garcia Parra got a big cut at a 98 mile an hour fastball. Jeff Kent is in the on-deck circle. Beltran a couple of steps the other way in center. The 0-2 pitch, upstairs, a fastball. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Chavez pretty deep in left field, as is Sean Green in right. Right deep at third and off the line. Wagner takes a tug at the bill of his cap. Has the sign from LaDuca, who steps up inside. The 1-2 pitch, low inside, ball 2. It was 0-2, now it's 2-2. 96-mile-an-hour fastball there. Billy looks back at his defense before rubbing up the ball. Garciaparra waiting in the box. Wagner comes set. The 2-2 pitch. Swing and a miss. Put in the book. The New York Mets have taken the opener of this division series from the Dodgers. They win it 6-5 as Wagner strikes out Garciaparra with what looked like a slider down and in to end it. And the Dodgers strand the tying run at second base. In the ninth inning for Los Angeles, 1 run, 2 hits, no errors, 1 man left. The final score in Game 1, the New York Mets 6 and the Los Angeles Dodgers 5. Back to talk about it in a moment on the WFAN Mets Radio Network.